And test. Hello. It's working. Limbus is working. Sound is working. Everything is working. Hello and welcome once again, whoever you are, wherever you're watching from, or whenever you're watching, to our daily Limbus Company ID study, book reading, and mirror dungeon. Now, like I mentioned before, in our haste to get ourselves into a rhythm of which IDs we're going to be using, we kind of skipped through the Walpurgis night. Hello there, Carmen. It's been a while. So we kind of skipped one of the Walpurgis Knight's duos, which is Lobotomy, E.G.O, Red Eyes and Penitence Ryoshu, and Solid Lament Yiseng. So that is going to be the ones that we're going to be doing today. Welcome, Killy. Welcome, Moises. How y'all doing? Today's been a weird day. Yesterday was a bit of a rush because, I forgot it was maintenance day, and, I had to rush the end of the stream there, but it did kind of clear the boss at the end. I had to redo the boss today to finish the dungeon proper because it didn't save the progress. But Queen of Hatred Dawn and Knight of Despair Rhodia are incredibly powerful. And incredibly fun to play as. In any case, today we're going to be looking at these two Walpurgis Night ID, and after stream we are going to be reading finally one of the big books to really sink our teeth in, Crime and Punishment. Now, we just finished last stream Hellscream and the Spider Tread, which is again a reminder that demons exist and they are out to get you. And today we're bringing the return of the pages collected per combat encounter so that we actually can get through this book in a in a decent way, because Crime and Punishment has 467 pages. We do kind of start at page 35, but still, yeah. In any case, there's no fit wrong. Going to Ryoshu and the idea releasing the Mr. Copies. Oh, do tell me, because something funny that's going to happen. So let me just make sure of that. Hold on. Today is our 60 daily stream. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. In exactly 7 days from now, Blade of the House of Spiders Ryoshu will be available for sharding. It will be our 67th. It will be our 67th daily mirror dungeon by the time she gets released. So, yeah. I'm not gonna roll for her. I considered rolling for her just for fun. I finally got over 220,000 lunacy to prepare for Walpurgis, but I think it would be funnier if we get her on the 67th ID. The daily mirror dungeon. I have to free mental damage just for doing that. And let's get into the analyzing the ID. Let's not waste too much time on this, shall we? Do tell your idea, Carmen. Let me just recover my sanity point from this. Self-inflicted punishment. Right, let me get my notes up here so I can write down about Yiseng, and we try to understand this ID because I never got how he works. I used him a few times but never understood the ins and outs of this ID. Very well. Lobotomy Corporation E.G.O Solemn Lament Yiseng has 203 health, 3 to 8 speed, 62 defense level. He is fatal to blunt, but strong against pierce. He possesses the sins of pride, gloom, and sloth with a guard gloom. Let me put that guard gloom. Then F1. And then F2. Stream. Maybe I should put this on the screen sometimes. I don't put it because who cares. All of his damage types are pierce across the board, so we gain good bonuses from using Pierce gifts here, so very good, very nice. Let me write that down as well. Pierce. All right. New creative faction knows new House of Spiders with faction ID based on Nurse Spiders. Interesting. Right, let's get to his passive. Now, Solid Lament Yiseng. I see the dying butterfly. Begins encounters with 10 of each, the living and the departed, which is unique ammo. Let's write that down. It is a ammo ID. When consuming the living and the departed, select randomly between the living potency and the departed account for each the living and the departed value. So we have 10 bullets in each gun. Got it. When inflicting Butterfly, inflict the same amount of the living and the departed as they were consumed. Example below. If this unit consumed X living, inflict X living. If this unit consumed Y departed, inflicts Y departed. Right. And it is a unique sinking type. I remember that. We did take a good look at those. So when we shoot gun that uses living, we inflict living. When we use gun that inflicts departed, we inflict departed. Got it. If this unit runs out of the living and the departed midway through a skill, cancel all subsequent coins and reload, which is, effect applied to the living and the departed. Unique ammo consume 30 minus the living and the departed divided by 2 SP rounded down. Ooh, that's a hefty amount of sanity that we can lose. Reset both the living and the departed values on self to 0 and gain a max value of their sum based on the probabilities listed in the passive I see that dying butterfly. Reload, gain at least one of the living and one of the departed. Let's see. So wait for skill. Subsequent points. So we got 10 bullets on each gun. I got that. But if we're doing a skill and we try to shoot a gun that is empty, will it force a reload? Because that's what I'm understanding here. Reload gaining when gaining living in the departed, gain either the living or the departed based on the unit current speed. At 0 higher speed, the living separate departed. Okay, so based on our sanity levels, we gain a chance to reload. I don't get that one. This one's a little complicated. Let me start from the top. Sorry. This is gonna be all of the Lobotomy E.G.O IDs are very unique, so it's gonna take a little bit to understand them properly. Queen of Hatred, Dawn, and Kodia were pretty simple. So let's take it from the top. So we got 10 bullets on each gun. When we shoot, we use randomly between the two of them. When we inflict Butterfly, we inflict the same type of bullet that we consumed on the enemy. Butterfly is a unique type of sinking that either lowers the enemy's sanity or no, it deals damage to the enemy based on the count and heal our sanity when we hit them at random. So effectively killing the living and the departed respectively. When hit, the attacker heals the living divided by 4 SP, -1, run down when hit. And if this unit's speed is less than 0, take sinking potency 5 gloom damage for every value of the departed. 0, go to the living and convert the living into the departed. So if I understood correctly, when an enemy has living or departed, which we inflict by shooting them, when we hit them, we will be gaining the living divided by 4 sanity, minimum of 1. So we are healing our sanity every time we hit the enemy. If the enemy is at less than 0 SP, he will be taking sinking potency divided by 5 gloom damage, up to 30 per shot. Reset the departed of this effect to 0, then gain sinking equal to the living, and then convert the living into the departed. And the departed is the one that deals damage. Okay, so once the turn ends, we're gonna take the departed that is on the enemy, set it to 0. Then he's gonna gain sinking potency equal to the amount of living he currently has, and then converts how much living he had into the departed. So our sanity healing, which is the living, will be reset on the enemy, and he will just take extra damage for the more departed he has. But at the end of the turn, it's always going to be all transformed into the departed, and the guy is going to gain a lot of sinking potency. That I got. Right. If this unit runs out of ammo midway through a skill, cancel all subsequent coins and reload. When reloading or when gaining living and departed, gain either the living or the departed based on this unit's current SP. At 0 or higher SP, 30% chance to gain the living, 7% chance to gain the departed. At less than 0 SP, 7% to gain the living, 30% chance to gain the departed. This is important to understand because when we are at above 0 SP, we have more chances to gain the damage bullet, which is the departed. So let me write that down. Living equals sanity heal. Departed becomes gloom damage. Right, so when we are above 0 SP, we have a higher chance of reloading the departed, which is the damaged bullet. When we are at less than 0 SP, we have a 70% chance to reloading the living, which is our sanity bullet, because every time we use a gun, we are going to consume either of those bullets and apply that effect on the enemy. The departed becomes pure gloom damage, and the living becomes sanity heal on hit. Got it. But isn't the reload just literally just zeroing both our ammo and then gaining the max value of both of them? Because I do believe we have a few skills in this ID that gives an ammo back, so we're gonna be seeing that. So we reload. Let's see, Sim 30, the living plus the departed, divided by 2 SP rounded down. So if we have to reload early, we lose less SP. Is that what I understand me? So 30 minus living and departed, which can only go up to 20. So we can, if we reload from full, we only lose 5 SP. But if we reload from empty, that is 15 SP, which is not too expensive considering. So our reload is sanity based. Really? AI viewers, go away. Fucking bots on Twitch, man, I'll tell you what. Alright, got it. Well, fire, I shall fire. This is a line from one of his poems, by the way. We read here on stream. 3 Gloom Resonance. Attack end. If this unit kill the target with its skill, reload. When this unit gains the living or the departed, gains 2 haste next turn. Alright. So let me write that down. So we have a passive for 3 Gloom Res for kill reload. Alright. Fire, I shall fire. This is also the name of the skill he uses on his Corp E.G.O fell bullet. I'm fairly sure. Where is it? No, it's for the passive, isn't it? What? No, I'm fairly sure. Is it on the Corp Ryoshu? Hold on. Skill passive. I shall fire anytime. There we go. Fire, I shall fire, and I shall fire anytime is lines of this E.G.'s poem. So let's get back right into it, shall we? Right. We saw his passive. We kind of understand how he works now. So bang, bang, bang. 10 bullets in each gun. Each bullet adds a different effect on the enemy. The living heals sanity on hit, and the departed deals damage based on sinking potency on the target. The turn ends. All the living in the target becomes the departed, which is the damage type version of our unique sinking. And if we run out of ammo, we reload our gun, losing sanity, and the chances of reloading certain types of bullet are, or when gaining or reloading, we gain bullets based on our speed. But with reload, we fully reload both our magazines. So this is mostly to do with the ability to gain bullets outside of our reload, which I believe it's going to be the skills. Not sure about that. We do have a Gloom Resonance activation here for his passive, which allows him to reload after killing someone and gaining haste. So he's a fast boy. All right, Celebration for the Departed. A 4 base skill with 4 coin power, 2 coins, Pierce Pride, 62 offense level. On a 4/4/4, this is a base 12 roller. At 10 plus living in the departed, he gains clash power +1. If the son of the target sinking and both butterfly is 6 or higher, coin power +1. And on clash wing, inflicts 2 sinking count. So we have a singular stance of escalation here. This attack can roll up to a 14. And it requires the enemy to have sinking and butterfly, which we apply whatever shot, so that's not going to be a problem. Consumes 1 bullet and inflicts butterfly equal to the bullet consumed. Consumes another bullet, so skill 1 consumes 2 bullets. Got it. Skill 2, Solemn Lament for the Living. 4 base power, 6 coin power, 2 coins, Pierce Gloom. At 4/6/6, this attack rolls a 16, which is baseline skill 2 nowadays. It has 2 levels of escalation for every 6 sinking or butterfly on the target. So this goes from a 16 to an 18 and then to a 20. It has 2 coins, so it's going to consume a lot of ammo, actually. This is why it's important for us to read the description of the skills, because you think like, this skill has 2 coins, right? That's 2 bullets. No, first one consumes 5. In any case, At 10 plus bullets, we gain clash power. Point power plus 1 for every 6 value of son of the target sinking and butterfly, max of 2, inflict sinking count. Gains highest resonance of the living and the departed, maximum of 6. Instead, the resonance was an absolute resonance, gains highest resonance times 2 of the living and the departed, max 12. If the said resonance was at 4 plus, use reload instead. Now, this is interesting. This is interesting because let's understand something here. If we hit the reload, we are going to empty both of our magazines, do the cool reload, but we're going to be taking sanity damage doing that, right? When we gain bullets without doing a reload, we do not lose sanity. So what I'm seeing here is that if we do an absolute resonance, we gain the resonance times 2 bullets. So let me understand correctly. If we do a 4 plus absolute resonance, we will reload and lose sanity. But if we do a resonance that is absolute but not 4 plus, we are going to be rolling up to 12 bullets. So we can avoid losing our sanity as long as we don't do a absolute 4 plus resonance. And reminder, resonance is only when we have several colors of the same in our chain. Absolute resonance is when we have them in a row. So if we avoid a 4 plus resonance, we can avoid reloading and losing sanity on our skill 2, and that's specifically for the skill 2. So I'm gonna write this down here. A plus resonance 4. Resonance reloads. Resonance. Resonance. My. Regen bullets. All right. So we are avoiding a big resonance here with our skill 2 to try and reload without actually reloading. We can also do normal resonance as long as it's not, you know, absolute resonance. Gem bullets. All right, got it. So it's after the attack. So first coin consumes 5 bullets and the second one consumes 1. So we're really looking at the skill consuming 6 bullets out of our total. We can regenerate all those 6 bullets by having a resonance of 6, as long as it's not, you know, absolute. Right, so highest resonance, number of the max of 6. So then it was an absolute resonance, gain highest resonance times 2 of the living and the departed. Max of 12. So if we do a resonance of 3, absolute resonance of 3, we can reload 6 bullets, which is the bullets we consumed. Got it. Right, let's check the final skill. Goodbye now, a sorrow in you. 4 base power, 3 coin power, 4 coins, pierce, sloth with a 65 offense level. 3, 3, 3, 9, 12, 16 base power. Base power plus 1 for every 5 the living of the departed. So shooting at this for maximum ammo gave us 4 base power extra. So we got an 8 plus 12, so 20 from full magazines. Coin power plus 1 for every 6 value of son of target sinking and butterfly, max of 2. So 2 levels of coin escalation, making this all 5. So we have a 24, and from full magazine we can roll a 28. Attack and he reloads. It inflicts 3 sinking count. And it consumes all of your ammo, not just a little bit, all of it. So 1, 6, and then all of it. So to begin, we have to have 7 bullets to even use this, otherwise your skill is gonna get cancelled. Right, inflicts butterfly, and consume all the butter to inflict butterfly equal to living consumed. Use 40% range for every value of consumed by the skill. Then ghoul damage equal to all butterfly on target, all called the sum of both, living departed on the target. All right, so literally our skill tree is the mag dump skill. We are going to use all of our bullets to kill the target. So I'm gonna write this here, mag dump skill. Plus power from a full mag. Got it. So we're really nuking someone with all the bullets in our magazine on this one. Got it. All right, the defense skill. From the coughing, a butterfly takes flight. 10 base power, 4 coin power, normal guard, 61 defense level, which is lower than our normal defense level, which sucks. We reload once per turn, gains shield equal to the sum of both butterfly on the target. On the target, maximum HP, max 20% per turn. So we gain more tankiness by targeting someone that we have already attacked before. So there's nothing really to write home about here. So, all right, I feel like we got a good grasp on how this boy works. So, in summary, our boy here has bullets. He has 10 bullets in each magazine. The living hits the enemy with a debuff that when we hit him, we regenerate our sanity. The departed, which is the other gun, hits the enemy with a debuff as well, that when we hit them, we deal damage based on the sinking potency that he has. If we run out of ammo during his skill that requires ammo, we cancel the skill and reload immediately. Reloading will add 10 bullets to each of your gun, but will consume up to 15 sanity if you don't have from 0, if you have to reload from 0. When we gain bullets back from, you know, the skill 2 here, which allows us to regenerate ammo, we're going to be regenerating our bullets based on our sanity. So if we are at high sanity, we are more likely to regenerate the bullets that deal damage. And we are on low sanity, we are likely to regenerate the bullets that regenerate our own sanity. Very good. If we have a tree resonance, we are going to kill someone and reload our gun immediately, which is not ideal, honestly, because we're going to be losing sanity here. We want to avoid a gloom. This is interesting because we kind of want to avoid the gloom resonance to reload because we don't want to lose our sanity. But again, it's so weird, it's so strange. And when we gain bullets, we gain haste, so really nice. The skill 2 allows us to regenerate bullets based on our resonance, but if we go too overboard with our resonance, we reload again, which is not ideal. Our ideal is to regenerate our bullets without reloading the gun. But on our skill tree, unfortunately, on use, we are going to be mag dumping someone, and that's what's going to happen. So ideally, I'm never gonna get tired of this. Thank you, Yusang, for being such an autistic little creature. Anyway, ideally, we are going to be using our skill tree after we reload our gun from empty. Very good. Let's equip some E.G.O on him. So, Bygone Days, Fell Bullet. Actually, don't need Fell Bullet. Sun Shower. And it doesn't hit Dimension Shredder and Wishing Cairn. We don't have Wrath to fuel this, so we're going to go with Sun Shower. All right, we got our boy here. I understand how he works now. He's very nice. Let's check out Ryoshu. Let me open up a new notepad here. And Ryoshu, here we go. Ryoshu, Lobotomy, E.G.O, Red Eyes, and Penitence, dual wielding 2 Zain weapons. 209 HP, 3 to 7 speed, 60 defense level. He is weak versus pierce, but strong versus blunt. Strangely enough. Anyway, she possesses the sins of envy, gloom, and lust. All of her attacks are blunt. Let me write it down here so I keep these things nice and easy for me to access. I'm not going to do the same blunders I did before when analyzing these IDs, and we have an empowered S3, which I'm going to put as S3 plus. Blunt Lust. Her defense skill is a blunt lust counter. Blunt Lust. Very good. Let's check out her passive. E.G.O Assimilation. When gaining charge count, gain Red Eyes or Penitence instead. Red Eyes and Penitence are unaffected by charge potency. So we are a charge unit. Red Eyes. Sorry, there's some mucus in my mouth. Red Eyes is a unique charge with a fixed potency, has a maximum value of 20, so it's not a new generation charge unit. We don't gain potency by using more of our charge, so we can use it freely. Base skill coin effects inflict 1 more bleed, just by having this. Enhances the buff based on value stage, Red Eyes Alert, and Red Eyes Devouring. The amount of additional bleed inflicted by the first time of this buff equal to the buff enhancement, stage 3. So at stage 3, you're inflicting 3 more bleed potency. I see. So 1, 2, 3, very easy, very simple. So bleed, charge bleed. Write that down. Penitence is another unique charge, which heals 2 SP on hit with base skill coins that gain penitence. Max value of 20, unique charge potency. Turn start, she gains penitence percent of max HP as a shield versus used by certain skills, enhances the buff stage based on value, penitence, penitence periphery, penitence confession. The amount of SP healed by the first time this buff is based on the enhancement stage. So this unit will practically heal her own sanity, much like Yi-Sang because of the bullet type. So we don't have to worry about having sanity healers on our team. That is very nice. In any case, Spider-Head and Skullface, her passive, 3 Lust, 3 Gloom. When hitting an enemy with a coin that gains red eyes, she deals red eyes divided by 2 more damage. If this unit is faster than the target by 3 or more, deal an additional red eyes divided by 2 damage. If the target has bleed, she gains 1 red eyes 3 times per turn. When hitting an enemy with a coin that gains penitence, she deals penitence divided by 2% more damage. If the target's SP is lower than this unit, deal an additional penitence divided by 2 damage. For targets that are non-SP units, their SP counts as 0. At 20 plus SP, she gains 1 penitence 3 times per turn. When hit by an enemy, she also gains penitence. Very good. So again, we don't have to worry about our sanity healing. We also deal more damage just by existing. That is a crazy amount of extra damage just by existing. But that is the recurring theme with Ryoshu, is that she deals damage. Alright, skill 1, both of you shut up. 4 base power, 4 coin power, 2 coins, blunt, envy with a 61 offense level. At 7 plus red eyes, coin power plus 1, and a 7 plus penitence, clash power plus 1. So only 1 instance of power escalation here for the coins. This attack rolls a 12 base, and it can roll up to a 14 base. So it is 1 power above average for skill 1s. Usually skill 1s are 11, then 13, then 15. This one starts at 12, but then it goes to a 14, but it doesn't escalate any further. On hit, gains red eyes and inflict bleed, and gain penitence, and gain more penitence. So we're generating our card really easily. Skill 2, SH and SF, Screwhead and Spider-Face, or something like that. 4 base power, 4 coin power, 3 coins, blunt, gloom with a 62 offense level. 1 attack weight. With a 4-4-4-4, this is a 16. Skill 2, baseline, average, 16 roll. If the sum of red eyes and penitence is 15 or higher, coin power plus 1. If the target has 6 bleed, coin power plus 1. So we have 2 instances of escalation here. So from a 16, this turns into a 19, and then it turns into a 22. Not bad at all. There are some skill trees from previous IDs that struggle to get to a 22, but then again, we were advancing the story real quick by that point. On hit, gains penitence. On hit, gains red eyes, inflicts bleed. On hit, gains red eyes equal to the bleed on target divided by 2. Heads hit at 7 plus red eyes, she gains haste next turn 2 times per turn. Very cool. Nothing crazy here. Not really gonna pay attention to this because again, this is kind of automatic. Skullbuster. Her skill tree, which has an enhanced version, but it becomes the serious Skullbuster. This sounds like a WWE move. In any case, 5 base power, 4 coin power, 3 coins, blunt, lust with a 63 offense level. 4-4-4, that is a 12 plus 5, that is a 17. If red eyes and penitence are both a 15 plus, activate serious Skullbuster instead. So we have a conditional plus 15 red eyes and penitence for an S3 plus. Sorry. If this unit's speed is faster than the target, we gain coin power plus 1 level of escalation here. At max SP, we gain clash power plus 2 and coin power plus 1, 2 levels of escalation here. So this goes from a 17 to a 20 and then to a 23, which is a little underwhelming, but again, if this is not the enhanced version. So 23 on both conditionals. This one can reach a 22 with both conditionals, so let's see. On hit, gains red eyes. On hit, gains penitence, inflicts 3 bleed. Head hits, inflicts penitence. Heals self and unalive with lowest HP percentage by penitence divided by 2% of each unit's max HP. That is a crazy heal. That is a really crazy heal. Penitence gonna go up to 15, and 15 divided by 2, that's 7% of each unit's max HP. That is a crazy good heal. And we also have the sanity healing as well. That is crazy good. That is crazy good. Now let's check out that S3 enhanced, shall we? 5 base power, 4 coin power, 3 coins, blunt, lust with a 65 offense level. Consumes all red eyes and penitence on self, and gains coin power +1 for every 5 red eyes, and coin base power +1 for every 5 penitence. The red eyes and penitence go up to 20, so we can consume 4 of them. That is 4 coin power and 4 base power. With 4 coin power increased, this one becomes all 8s, and with the 4 base power, this becomes a 9. So let's check out the escalation here. With a 5, 4, 4, 4, this becomes a 17 base. First level of red eye escalation, this becomes a 20, and then it becomes a 23, and then it becomes a 26. With all the escalation from penitence, we are adding 4 more to this, so this becomes a 30 roller. Amazing. So let me write that here. So 20 red eyes and T for maximum power. Got it. Attack ends, loses 15 SP and gains only ashes remain. Cannot maintain red eyes and penitence when gaining red eyes with base skill effects. Heal self and one alive with lowest HP percentage. When gaining penitence with a base skill effects, heal self a lot. So after we bust our load with our serious skull buster, burning through all our 20 levels of charge in red eyes and penitence, we are going to lose some SP, and every attack that we were going to gain red eyes and penitence will only heal HP or SP for us and for our allies. This is an incredibly good, kind of unorthodox healer, because she heals by beating the absolute fuck out of our enemies, which is kind of the recurring theme with healers in this game. Honestly, I don't think we have an ID or ego that heals people just by existing without some downside or the ability having to hit someone. Like, the most popular healing ego is Fluid Sac, and you have to hit someone because it's an AoE. Anyway, inflicts bleed equal to the red eyes consumed minus 15 on target, max 5. Deals 4% more damage for every red eyes and penitence consumed, to a maximum of 160%. On hits, heal self and one ally with lowest HP percentage by penitence consumed. Heals one additional ally for true rise resonance. Heal self and ally, blah 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 blah. Heal additional ally, and on hit inflicts 3 bind and true attack power down. So not only does this heal deals damage, it also debuffs the unfortunate target of this. That is incredibly powerful. Holy shit. I knew this idea was powerful, but I didn't realize how powerful it was. Sanity heal, health heal, debuff, high damage, high rolling. All that you need to do is get 20 charge on both of the weapons, which is incredibly easy to do so. Right, let's check out that counter. Mealtime, bedtime. 5 base power, 4 coin power, true coins, blunt, lust, 61 offense level. On hit, she gains true red eyes once per turn. At less than 7, she gains additional 1. On hit, true penitence, true once per turn, and less than 7 penitence gains an additional 1. So we can gain up to 3 charge for both of our charges with this counter. Very nice, very cool. Very simple, no gimmicks here, just a really solid ID. You don't have to, you know, pay attention to a lot of stuff, just have it and you're good to go. Right, we're going to be taking red eyes and red eyes open because those synergize with the ID itself. Because if we're faster than the enemy, well, the enemy gets shafted. In any case, this, I think we finished the review. Now, for announcers, we're going to be taking Ryoshu because we do not have a Yiseng announcer. At least, not that I'm aware of. Do we have a Yiseng announcer? No, we don't. So it is going to be just Ryoshu talking in our ear. Let's build ourselves a team to support this Choco Fox. For Faust, now, we are a Pierce, we are Blunt, we are Sinky, we are Bleed, we are Ammo, and we are Charge. We're a bit of a mixed bag here, and we have to focus on one of the two. So let's see. For Piercing, we do have the Shi Association, but the Shi association only gives pierce damage up to the ally that deals the most bleed potency. You went by it? Wait, we have a Yi-Sang? Virgilius, June, Odd, Yezod, Nelly. Oh, I'm sorry, Yi-Sang. I forgot you were there. I wasn't aware that we had a Yi-Sang. Oh my god, I feel so sorry. Oh, we haven't deployed it yet, and so this is like forgetting the weird kid on a school trip before the bus departs and someone actually remembers he exists. Oh my. I'm sorry, Yi-Sang. Anyway. Alright, we have Pierce, we have Blunt, we have Ammo, Sinking, and Bleed. Let's see, we're gonna have to focus on one of these, so I don't know which one's gonna be. I am liable to leave base Faust again because this is very good. This one is also okay. Let's see. We do have these Sins. When hit allies, keep defense skill, and there's lots of stern inflict for bleed on the attacker. We could make good use of this out of Ryoshu. Sort of, maybe. Nah. Let's leave base Faust, because that passive is insane. Burn, damage reduction, rupture. Enemy that has negative effects lose splash power. Pierce, bleed, bonus. This is a gluttony resonance that we don't have access to. This is for charge. One ally that has the least charge count, use an enemy gain against 3 charge count once per turn. Actually, this is very good to keep up Ryoshu's power. Let's keep that. Don Quixote. Don Quixote, we actually can make use of her Heisho ID because it is really good. Inflicting defense level down equals to more damage on the enemy. So that might be a choice. We also have Lobotomy E.G.O here that, if recall, gain charge count, this charge count is basically against charge count, set out against your charge count, target, SP, charge target, SP. That's good. This is crazy good. So, if among allies that gain charge count using their base attack skills, one ally that has the least charge count uses a base attack skill that gains charge count, that said ally gains 2 charge count 2 times per turn. At 0 or higher SP, heal charge on target times 2 HP, maximum of 10, heals up to 20 per turn. At less than 0 SP, heals charge on target SP, max 5, heals up to 10 per turn. So essentially, this is a Envy passive, Envy Resonance, that allows us to heal sanity and health by just existing within charge. And since most charge IDs have Envy on their kit, this is kind of good. We could use this to give support to Ryoshu, but Ryoshu already have self-heal for sanity and normal health, so it's kind of redundant here. But again, very good. Thank you, Carmen. Other options that we have here. Again, we're charged and we're bullets. On a power for the first skill. We could actually use this, but I prefer to do universal more damage. Mercil! We actually have someone that can benefit from your bullets here, brother. When an ally with a fast speed uses a skill that spends ammo, if their speed is faster than the target by 3 or more, deal speed difference, more damage. That does not have has the ammo buff. This is good, this is great, we are going to be using that because Yi-Sang does gain haste and he is supposed to be a fast boy anyway. So his speed is 3 to 8, while Ryoshu's is also 3 to 7. He's a little bit faster than Ryoshu, but he gains self-haste. So if we're faster than the target, we are going to be dealing extra damage. Anything else here that we could use? No. Honglu. Right. Ryoshu inflicts bleed. Yi-Sang inflicts sinking. Ryoshu uses charge. Yi-Sang uses bullets. Another that has the most ammo, deals percentage of skills that spend ammo, does not activate when out of ammo. That is 10% more damage for Yi-Sang. Other option would be 20% more damage to the ally with the most SP, which is probably going to be Ryoshu. Or let's see. Love how they work the 5 haste stat. Yeah, it's actually good now. The true offense level down, plasma bleed count next turn, the enemy with a fast speed. That's pretty good. So really, again, let's take a moment to appreciate how good of a support passive Ting Tong Honglu is, because ally identity that has the most ammo deals 10% more damage using skills that spend ammo. Now, he's saying all of his skills use ammo. That's pretty good. That's 10% more damage. Versus 20% more damage with heads coins for the ally with the most SP, and this is a team that heals its SP. So really, it's do you want to have like $2 or $1? Oh, so the $1 comes with like you have to have bullets. So unfortunately, this is too good of a passive to ignore. It's going to be there. Heathcliff, help us up here. Now we have the full stop office fixer, which gains 2 points count when using skills with some ammo. Let's full stop office. No, not good, not great. We could take the multi-crack office fixer for more charge count, but most of Ryoshi's abilities are gaining more charge count with this ID here. This is I think this is the only ID that modifies the amount of charge count you can get. Usually that is for a E.G.O gift, but this is very good for other charge IDs, but not for Ryoshu, because most of her stuff are locked behind a certain number, so going above that number does not help. Anyway, well, maybe Wild Hunt. Let's see. Yeah, Wild Hunt is great. Wild Hunt is great for Isang. Let's see. Another has the highest speed, deals 5% more damage. Target have less than 0 speed. The target has less. More damage for the speed. More seeking skill. Yeah, this would be great for Isang if he was fighting solo, because he loses SP a lot. So it's going to be a toss-up who's going to get to use this. We could also use our Corp 4th pack here for fast speed, deal 2% more to pierce damage. That sounds good. Let's go for the extra damage here. Ishmael, how can you support bullets? How can you support bleed? How can you support charge? And how can you support sinking? Edgar Family Butter does butter. Waitress, more butter. We want to allow the fast speed attack target has sinking deal, so 1% more damage. That is good. Yisang is supposed to be the fastest one, so let's get that going. Rhodium is probably going to say the same. The Lobotomy E.G.O one is good for negative sanity IDs, so that doesn't work here. And burn, tremor, rupture, bleed, or sinking, right? It's a lust resonance. We do have lust with Ryoshu for her counters. But yeah, no, that's a little too random. It only benefits the ring, really. So base Rhodia it is for that extra sweet extra damage. Sinclair, you know what it is. Sinclair, get on the costume. Unless you have a better option that I can think of, which I don't think you do. We do have the Thumb East Soldato, but we regenerate our ammo, so this kind of becomes worthless, and it is a Pride Resonance. We do have Pride, but yeah, that's not very good. Yeah, get in the costume, you know what it is. Start shaking those maracas, boys. And you. Charge count, temper charge count first turn. The only moment we consume charge count is when we use our skill tree enhanced. So this is just extra damage for our skill tree on Ryoshu, and it's just 10% more damage. Rather have Blade Linear Salso again. That on low up HP damage bonus is no joke. And finally, Gregor. We actually have decent healing here, so we can actually leave Gregor be today. He doesn't have to turn into his war veteran form here. So let's check it out here. This one is for healing on a resonance, so no good. E.G.O lamp is I follow it as an order, negative effects, give 4 algorithms doing 1 damage next turn. It is a Wrath resonance, and we don't have Wrath, so can't use that, fortunately. We do have Twin Hook first mate, which is that has the most poise if the enemy get 1% damage up next turn. Can't use it. It's just that Gregor doesn't really have good passes. strangely enough. Resonance. This is for healing with the bleed AD. This is the decreasing enemy defense. Fire Fist Survivor is probably just straight up burn. Wrath damage. Yeah, we really don't have really good options for Gregor here, so we're gonna go with G-Corp Gregor as usual. All right, let's give a review real quick. This is a bit of a mixed bag of a team, so let's take it carefully. First, we have Multi-Crack Office Representative Faust, which is giving us additional count on kill for Ryoshu. Heisho Pack Way Branch Dawn is giving us defense level down against enemies with sinking or rupture. We do inflict sinking with Yisang, so that's going to be used. Thumb East Capo is giving Yisang more damage with his bullets. Think Tank Gang Leader is giving us 20% more damage. Our Corp 4 Pack Rabbit Heathcliff is giving us simply 10% more pierce damage. Ishmael is giving us more damage against enemies that have sinking. Rodion is straight up just giving us more damage. This is the same passive as Gambler Honglu without I realize it. Los Jeffrey Mariachi is giving us more damage on enemies with lower sanity, and because we have a sinking unit, it's going to be everyone. Lineage Sausu Otis is giving us more damage against enemies with low health, and G-Corp Manager Corporal Gregor is giving us healing on a crack win. Alright, let's get it done. By the way, Reflect Trial is coming up, I haven't forgot. Probably this Friday, probably tomorrow, not sure. I'll keep your eyes tuned for both YouTube and Twitter, because I post what I'm about to do there, and I'm trying to do it with a bit of you know, beforehand, before I actually do it, instead of like 1 hour before. So keep your eyes open for that. Right, now here comes the difficult choice. I could choose Charge to... I really have to choose one of these because they don't have any... what's it called? They don't have any overlap. Ryoshu's Charge and Bleed, and Yisang is Bullet and Sinking. Yeah, I know that they have like lightly different... it's the same passive, but different wording. So by having those two on a solo, that's 40% more damage. Anyway, I'm gonna have to choose one to have priority over the other here, because if I choose Bleed, Yisang does not get anything. If I choose Charge, Yisang doesn't get anything. If I choose Sinking, Ryoshu doesn't get anything. And if I choose Charge, Bleed, Sinking, Ammo, which is not really a choice here, we also don't get everything. So since Ryoshu is being favored a little bit, I'm gonna take Patrolling Flashlight, so it gives us a little bit of tankiness. For starters, we are going to take our lovely Lithograph and the Zippo Lighter. Cheap gifts that help a lot. If we have something for Lobotomy Corporation here, I would like to take it, but I don't know. Oh, this is the new one, right? I'll check this out when I do her on our upcoming 6-7. 6-7. 6-7 string. So bad. Right, what do we take here? Let's just take these two, that's good enough. Do you like the new House of Ideas and Symbol? Yeah, they're pretty good. I did get spoiled a little bit on the new idea, and I love that Lei Heng is haunting the narrative again. I hope that becomes a thing. Alright, here we go. Inquisitors, Butlers, and the Unloving, which takes forever. Let's go for the Unloving. Let's get on the first fight so we can get our sanity up and deploy Ryoshu first, followed by Yisang. One we really have to watch out for is Yisang, because we want to use our skill tree when we reload. Skill 2 gains bullet back on resonance. Here we go. So we are fully loaded right now, so we can just mag dump one of these guys, but I don't want to do that right now, so here we go. Infinite mini man equipped box too. Oh, I didn't realize that. It was already good enough. Why did they do that? 7 bullets. Skill true consumes 6 bullets. Right. We have to use a serious cold buster right now. How about we don't? Only on the first one deployed. So yeah, that's the problem because I assume that's once per encounter. I'll check it out in just a moment. Hold on. Hit me. Oh, Ryoshu doesn't have a block animation, I see. Alright, we have 4 bullets right now. We're gonna use all of them. Bang, bang. Bang, bang. And now he's gonna reload. I love that he blocks with his back. Right, we're full power of Ryoshu. We're ready to bust that Skull Buster. But holding our Skull Buster seems to be like a very good option because it allows us to deal more with our everything. Right, we're completely out of bullets, so we can't do anything. Interesting. So because we don't have any bullets, we could win a clash and not actually shoot their bullets. I thought he was gonna reload when he is like out of bullets. Interesting. Hold on. Passive. Again counts with 10 of each. Alright. So we have a bulletless boy here, and he has the mag dump skill ready. But if you use the mag dump skill, he will not use it. So let's reload. Loving this game even more by the day, and I don't know why. It's a fun game. It actually has a good and decent combat. What's it called? Combat system. There's a lot of memes about wing rating, but the more you know about the combat system, the more fun it becomes. Sure, I wish there were more to do, but it is what it is. Alright, let's see that serious Skull Buster skull some busts. Mag dump that slave. Lost some sanity. So really, the only thing we really have to watch out for Yiseng, because he has a lot of bullets, that whenever he reloads, he loses sanity. And that's it. That's all we have to watch out for. And if you're having full bullets, mag dump someone with a skill tree. Also, I forgot to change the loading screen, so we get to see Dawn every time now. We have our skill tree ready and the mag dump ready. So mag dump. Similar to a lot of IDs that has like lots of conditional skill tree, Lobotomy, E.G.O, Ryoshu here, it's you benefit a lot more from teasing your skill tree as long as you can before you have no other choice but to use it, because the longer you keep the unique charge she has, the more effects she applies to her base skills. So you actually don't want to be using your skill tree as soon as it's powered up. Now, I'd say she's not as good as a bleed unit as you think she is, because I don't think she has any good count application. Let me check it out real quick here. So she inflicts bleed potency again, and bleed potency. So she's in a similar position as the middle IDs, where she doesn't have bleed count application, but she has bleed potency. She can apply quite a bit of bleed potency because of red eyes, which is, let's see, inflict one more bleed, then 1, 2, 3. Yeah, she can inflict like 3 bleed potency plus whatever is on the skill, so 4 bleed potency, 4 bleed potency, 6 bleed potency, and 6 bleed potency, 9 bleed potency here, and on the enhanced one, bleed equal to, yeah, 11 bleed potency. Yeah, all those other IDs to do the count job. Hey, Yank, you got any tips for Reflector Hard Mode Phase 2? I'm going to see Hey Show. Yes, you are, because that is literally what they do there. Either use the units that are from H-Corp or units that are able to inflict Rupture, which there are other options other than Hey Show, but Hey Shows are the, you know, de facto team. I haven't done Reflect Trial myself yet. I will do it tomorrow, probably. On the afternoon, not late night. Anywai, Ryoshu here is not that much good of a bleed applicator. She doesn't inflict that much potency. The problem is the count, really, because it's gonna get consumed when she's clashing. The main point is that she can be put on a charge or a bleed team, and you will gain a healer that deals damage and debuffs enemies, because she is fucking busted with that skill tree. So you have a healer without having to, you know, pay much attention to E.G.O or use Fluid Sac, because she's passively healing everyone when they use her skill tree. Life on the... That's just life on a wing, you know? Hey, sometimes the rats get a little uppity and they start encroaching territory they shouldn't be. Imagine how terrifying it must be. Like, you and your guys are a bunch of rats, and you're, you know, sitting down on... They're like, oh, we need a place to hide from the sweepers tonight, so how about we go to that Lobotomy Corporation facility and, you know, just sit down and they're not gonna do anything. And then out comes these guys. You know you're dead before you can even make a sound. How many bullets you have, he's saying? You're gonna have 0 soon. Alright, crushed. Bosses and Hiki, got it. Getting to phase 2 in under 12, 18 turns has actually proven itself to be really difficult. I'll have to check it out on myself tomorrow. Ooh.
그럼 오늘 림컴버 회식 메뉴는 수박을 곁들인 용수형 과자로 결정하지.
This is a busted gift? Wow. This is a busted gift. That is a +2 for her skill tree. Holy shit. +2 coin power, mind you. More homeless people. He's saying, mag dump that homeless man. Do it like Merso did to that one Arab in the beach. Did one consume 6 bullets, I believe? 6 bullets. So 6 bullets it is. Hey, just saying, the homeless people of Project Moon are built different, because you try living in the city as a homeless man and survive long enough, and you come out changed. They have nothing on the homeless men of our world have nothing on the homeless of Project Moon. Anyway, Mijamira, usual tips I can give you aside from like read the passives that the Reflect Trial have is really just the whole 6, 12 bullets. We currently have 11 bullets. You're gonna reload after this, buddy. Anyway, is another thing, one of the few things you can do to become tankier is just, if you can, use an E.G.O that gives your characters the sin resistance against the damage type that Ricardo does, which is, I do believe he's like an envy, pride, wrath character. So if your guys are having a lot of trouble surviving, lowering your, well, increasing your resistance to the sin helps a lot, and you can do that by using E.G.O. Never forget this. As you can see, when you choose a different E.G.O, it changes your resistances down that way over there. Yeah, that way. So if I were to use red eyes, you will become stronger against lust and weaker against pride, but stronger against envy. If I were to use this one, I become stronger against envy, stronger against gluttony, but weaker versus lust, wrath, and pride. Same thing here. So if you can survive by taking, because one of the biggest issue about Ricardo is that he has a powerful counter. Because they can't chip down the HP fast enough. Well, then there is the whole thing about, you know, it takes more damage from things that you rupture, if I recall correctly. Again, haven't done the reflect trial myself. Gonna take a crack at it tomorrow, see how it goes. Let's be real, what grade fixer would somebody like a COTO6B? Probably pretty high up there, because let's not power scale ourselves into a hole here thinking like this is the strongest universe or something stupid like that. The main difference here that I'm making a joke about is that while violence is the exception, depending on the part of the world you live in, that is, violence is the exception in our world. In the world of Project Moon, it is the constant reality that they live in, so they are used to it. A guy that is used to, you know, being attacked every day is going to be moving different than a homeless man that is not. So a COTO6 character, like someone gets isekai to Project Moon, like a COTO6, they are going to do well, they're going to go rise up the ranks, but they're going to have to acclimate themselves that they are in a constant state of danger, because the city is a place which is constant danger. Now, not saying that it's all the time you're going to go out in the streets and someone is just going to attack you with an axe, although that can happen. It's more like the fact that he's a part of the society that is to be expected to happen at all moment. Understand? Because you literally have offices that specialize in killing. One of the associations is literally about assassinations. At least we forgot about the She Association. Leo Association is all about all-out warfare, and these are official, public, and available to anyone with money. But then again, I like to say that a lot of times, the city still has all the commodities of the modern world, including all the jobs, including the boring ones. So even though it's violence all the time, someone still has to do like cleaning inside of the place. Like, sure, you don't have to worry about trash outside because the sweepers will get it, but normal people will just like, all right, fucking milk spilled on aisle 4, go get him. Hit it here. I love the city I live in. Great. But still, all the jobs that you think about exist in our world, exist in the city as well. Someone has to go to the factory to make glue, make paper, print out flyers, make merchandise, bottoms or whatever. All that shit still exists in the city. But it's just with a layer that at any moment, for any reason, you might get attacked by a bloodthirst syndicate. Very good, Yaseng. Very good. Go regenerate your standard, you weirdo. You little weirdo. Nice tactical reload there. That guy just exploded for some reason. Right. Below your load on this dude.
이라는 뜻이다.
We're avoiding our skill tree for as much as we can right now, so we can make use of our charge, which is not really that great, but still great. What do you think we're gonna make those getting murked after the benefit that was like close and blind for having face and killed that guy, forgot the pickle? Pretty much, yeah, that can happen. But here's the thing, unlike real life, which has like a bunch of legal issues about you owning a gun or walking around with a sword, in the city you can just do that. Like, no one's gonna bat an eye because you went to work your 9 to 5 McDonald's and you let me get my katana from the employee locker real quick, because you know there's been rumors about this dangerous syndicate around and I don't want to get caught with my pants down, and then you get jumped and you just slice someone in half. Is there another level? Yeah, there is another level. Let's not use our skill tree right now. Oh, like, hey, I bought this fucking Y-hander on the equivalent of a Walmart, and I'm gonna carry it around to protect myself, and you actually get a use out of it. It's not just like watching your room look pretty on a stand. You have a sword you're probably going to use at some point. Alright, Ryoshu, bust your skull buster on this bustus. Bust it down. Work up house of spiders. I'm not funny enough to complete that. All of the work that blade of the house of spiders sexual style. Ketchup. What's the problem of imagining an aberration based on today's expression? Do tell, Carmen. They seem to do that a lot. Boink, boink. Only ashes remain. Interesting, you can only get the debuff next turn, it means we can use our charge again. If you get enough slots, you can pop 2 serious skull busters. And now it's all gone because only ashes remain and all that. Alright. 6 bullets, 2 bullets, not good enough. Reload, mag dump that guy, and Ryoshu mop up whatever is left. Gonna start, reload once. Let Ryoshu handle that guy. You go mag dump that one guy. There we go. Good. That guy remained. Kill him. Ding ding. This is the Duchess that said strings. Ha. Actually, the announcer will say I should be probably paying attention on that. Alright, give me one tier. Oh, UPS system is always nice. Right, defense level. Next turn. That's pretty good. And yeah, this one. This way, we lose a little bit of charge with Ryoshu, but we're already edging our skill tree as much as we can, so it's going to be good. Carmilla. Ooh, yes. Let's go to emotional seduction. For some reason, Papa Bongi is the abnormality they choose to put on the pack called emotional seduction. I was still trying to understand the logic behind fried chicken representing emotional seduction. Look at these true doofus. It's almost like this thing didn't have a mental breakdown every time I didn't kill like 20 people. Right, mag dump time. We start with a mag dump, we use the mag dump.
이외에 특별히 첨언할 이유도 없군. 편히 쉬시게.
Now, if I understand correctly, there is really no advantage from using this later down the line, because every time the turn ends, it converts every single living into the departed. So I guess we can keep applying that to the same enemy, and eventually our skill tree is going to do a lot of damage because it deals damage based on the amount of butterfly on the target. I thought it was such a good mechanic because it makes a little lateral hold and places a bit of player damage. You can do, Carmen. I have linked this a few streams ago. I'm gonna link it again. Don't apologize for the dogs. You could try and design that in the Project Moon tabletop game that I GM, and I could maybe use it. I am going to link the link here on the stream for the book. So don't worry about it. It's not a spooky link. This is just a book. Yes, that's right. Your streamer is making you read again. But you know, you could try and make that into a stat block for a character. It's actually pretty damn fun. You don't have to follow the rules that are on the book, which God forbid you make an abnormality follow all the rules. It's gonna be a pain in the ass. It just makes a good fight, a good fun mechanic fight, which I have done before. It was okay. My players kind of cheesed it because let me explain. I'm gonna obliterate my dogs in a moment, just a second. So, in this system, there is an item called enkephalin, just like in the game world here. Enkephalin, in this case, can be used to recover stagger. Did I kill this guy? Nah. Shouldn't have done that. Anyway. Right, where was I? Enkephalin in the system can be used to recover the stagger. Usually you want to use it before you're staggered, but one of my players had the bright idea of the following. If you stagger someone and then you inject them with the enkephalin, they unstagger, but they're not going to unstagger with their full stagger bar. They're going to be easier to stagger. And so the idea is that they had when fighting this boss that I designed was literally we stagger the guy, before the round ends, we inject him with the stagger, seal him again, and stagger him one more time to extend the duration of his stagger. Which I allowed it, but it kind of botched the whole fight because I allowed it twice, which I shouldn't have, you know, honestly. But it's what's done is done, and so we move on. Alright, you guys are weak to Pierce, right? I remember you being weak to Pierce. How about I nuke you? Which was clever of the players, and I allowed it once, but next time I'm not gonna be so forgiving because it did break the boss fight in half, and I had good lore reasons to not allow them to do that because they were injecting a enkephalin into a dead body, not an actual living person, so I could have said no, has no effect because the body is just being puppet figured around by the abnormality, so it's not gonna work. Also, very funny that the fish are weak to rain. Right, how's your ammo? 7.9. Yeah, use your ammo a little bit more. Also, I just realized since we do a reload at combat start, we can actually use Yiseng's guard to use our mag dump whenever we want. So we actually have 2 mag dumps right now. Some poor fish is gonna. It's the day of the reckoning for the fish people. Take this. One more time. About the dragon fruits she likes so much, with it like 1,000 strings. Barbed lasso, that's rupture. Nice. Right, let's on to the chop. I did not keep track of how many fights we did. I forgot about it. So I'm chalking up the previous floor to 4 fights and this one to 3 fights. Counting the boss. Alright, let's keep moving. Let's not lose track here. Gifts. Rupture blood sac, torny pap. we could take Thorny Path. We actually have Lust Resonance to activate it, so it's pretty good. Rupture Blood Sac would be alright. Give me a refresh. Ooh, Rebate Token. Immediately take that. And this. I don't have money. I'm out of money. I actually have zero, exactly zero out of money. Huh. We can't actually activate this, so it's going to be recycled into more money, where we're going to use to upgrade our UPS system to give us lovely, lovely damage ups and more charge count, which is very good for us, which allow Ryoshu to keep her charge power up, because really we only consume charge with our Skull Buster. And every other skill does not. It just generate charge with every other skill. It's just a skill tree that consumes charge. So keeping our charge stacks up allows us to do more status effects until it's time to bust the skull. Oh, we got a mag dump already. Mag dump already. Ryoshu, it is time. Chicken time. Obliterate them. Then when you're sword. Understand why it's a spider sword. Oh, that actually makes a lot more sense, because she's unsheathing the sword from the spider sword, you know? But she doesn't really unsheath it. Dunk. Flick all of that into hidden. During all, it would say that we'd be able to adapt it because of being confusing in a way that complexity. I hope it's understandable. I understand. I'm just giving you advice, because it's fun to create the enemies in the game, enemies based on the concepts of the Project Moon universe. But it's even more. Well, I speak from personal experience here. It's a lot more fun to put that into motion and see people try to struggle and come up with creative ways to deal with it, you know? Because on the limits of Project Moon here, we are, again, limited by the availability of the games, and God forbid fucking Roblox. By having play it on a tabletop where it has complete freedom with some rules to, you know, define the guidelines here, it makes it a lot more fun to play around with it. Because, like, you can create the abnormality, but let's say a player decides to bring like an industrial strength tarp that is very strong to cover the abnormality with. How is the abnormality going to react to being covered with a tarp? Because you don't get that kind of experience in like a game which has rigid rules and you can't deviate too much from what you can do. But on a tabletop, you can do all sorts of crazy stuff, like the tarp tactic that I just talked about. Ryoshu, obliterate this thing. I don't want to see it anymore. That was a waste of sanity.
하지만 슬슬 물리는군. 근처에 융수염이라는 군 거를 파는 곳 있나? 있군. 그럼 오늘 림컴버 회식 메뉴.
It's taking so long. Alright, give me the gifts.
용수염 과자로 결정하지.
Carmilla, yes. Healing or damage on staggered enemies. I'll take damage on staggered enemies. Healing, we already have plenty with Ryoshu, and if we can get our hands into a poise gift now, that's extra power. It's here. You know, not be revived. There are no survive allies apart from this unit game. Torn out butterfly. When a pop for skill is recover staggering a shield equal to 100% special skill for stagger. And other have spider Ryoshu. Yeah, this is her gift. There is no doubt about it. Let's go for insignificant envy. I like that one. As a centipede, I like centipede is alright to fight. Thinking of centipede, there it is. But let's go to the focus encounter so we can make use of our abilities proper. Make use of our abilities proper. So I gotta remind me, because I want to prepare the strings a little bit better to. God damn it! I hate fighting these guys. Well, Ryu-sang, you're not mag dumping today. You're shooting the fucking sky out of their heads. These guys are very dangerous. They quickly went up my scale of danger after a few solos against them because they all have
우산이 새진
lots of rupture count application. Thank you. Rupture count and rupture potency, they are very dangerous.
부족해 찾아졌지 않나.
But a sun shower will put them right proper back in their places. And Ryoshu, actually save that big attack for the next one.
대가리 딱 세게.
They will recover after all.
훌륭하오. 이외에
And there will be
특별히
more of
첨언할
them
이유도
too.
없군.
So how about we do that again? How's your charge looking, Ryoshu? Are you ready to bust?
너무 오래 보고 있지.
You're not.
대가리 딱 세도 탱.
I love Sun Shower, it's such a good E.G.O. And it's nice that you got promoted to WoW level.
우산이 새진
Now here's one thing I'm thinking. I don't think we're gonna get an Aleph E.G.O. until we get to Purgatorio, honestly. Or maybe we'll do, I don't know, man. I think if I were to be up to me, I would think it would be happening during the when we, have some sort of paradigm shift on the whole Limbus company thing, because we're about to enter a new age of the game, so to speak. Alright, Ryoshu, do your thing. Because the shift from finishing all the cantos to the next book of Dante's Inferno is going to be, I assume, kind of massive. So it makes sense to actually have a, tangible power escalation there. With E.G.Os at least.
적확한 하나비었어.
And the only thing this ID doesn't have is AoE, because if Rena's Ryoshu had AoE, that would be fucking insane. Alright, time to mag dump.
역시 모가지를 분질러야 조용해지는 걸. 저 도야지 같은 새끼.
나아가주게. 편히 쉬시게. 잠든 그대를 빌릴 테니.
Very cool.
내가 알아서 처리한다.
Really a shame that they put the E.G.O. for Solemn Lament on Gregor instead of Yi-Sang.
하지만 슬슬 물리는군.
And I guess it would be too busted. But then again, they did that shit with Dawn and Opus before these units were released. Were they afraid that it would be too strong? Right, one combat node defeated, one page of crime and punishment read. Alright, give me your stuff. Give me your stuff. I know what you give me. We fail on purpose. Give me your money.
난 시키는 대로 했어. 불만은 상부에 찌르라고.
Another combat node.
기다려라, 거태. 곧 먹이를 먹여주지.
Come on. Ah, it's the middle. How you doing, boys?
스페셜한 기운이 느껴져. 면밀히
What
짚어보고
you doing, boys? How about we crush you under a rock? We only have slash, and wishing kind does become blunt, but it's a negative coin one.
애도에 잡담이 끼어드는 것은 좋지 않소.
Yeah, it's some AoE, I suppose. Let's go with that. Let's hit them with a double barrel of spells here. These are spells. These are magical spells. These are literally magical spells we have in our our control. It's a rock. Not enough to stagger, which was my objective.
항상 지켜보고 있었지.
And very bad Joker. Let's get punched now. Alright, let's get shooting. I think only one of us is weak to blunt. Let me check. We are... Yeah, Yi-Sang is fatal to blunt. Ooh, Yi-Sang is in a lot of trouble here. Yi-Sang, do it again. I don't care about your sanity. We have Ryoshu to heal your sanity.
소원을 말하시오. 아주 간절하게.
Very weak.
다 법을 이제야 좀 이해했군.
How do you correctly wow against the enemy? What do you mean by that, Rio?
먹기 좋게 찾아졌지 않나.
이외에 특별히 첨언할 이유도 없군.
He's saying, I'm gonna ask you to do that again on purpose. But no, actually no. Ryosho, how are your activation? Not good yet. Yeah, we're gonna have to win some clashes here. We're gonna have to hustle. Neutral, favored.
대가리 딱 떼고.
Yeah, they are resistant to envy, I'm pretty sure, and resistant to flat. So that eagle's not gonna do a lot of damage. Bang!
저들이 추풍과 같이
Keep gaining our sanity back because we use a lot of eagles for very little to no reason. So it didn't do a lot of damage. So Ryosho's now gonna heal our depressed poet sanity for a little bit so he can get back at peak physique, peak power. Ooh, actually, if you use Sun Shower or... I think it's Sun Shower that gives loft damage up. If you use Sun Shower before we use our... Hold on, he had 3 sloth resistance. Is it Sun Shower that gives us E.G.O sloth power up and sloth damage up? Ooh, yes! So if you use this before mag dumping someone, that is gonna do a lot of damage. Interesting. Not yet. Need you to reload.
나아가주게.
내 죄는 내가 알아서 처리한다.
You're getting this amount of protection from Wishing Pen, right? Yeah, that is pretty damn good. 30% blunt protection and 30% sloth protection. That is pretty damn good, you saying? Wow. Well, butter my butt and call me a biscuit. I love that quote from Leihang, goddamn. Do that. Right, we're gonna blast them with a stun shower, so next turn we will blast them with a mag dump empowered.
이 스며들 듯한 비 우산이 새진 않나 모르겠어.
Blast. Actually, technically we can use the mag dump on the same turn we use Sun Shower and the turn after. That's pretty damn good. Alright, so he now have 1 sloth power up and 2 sloth damage up. I thought it was 3, but whatever. Let's mag dump some food. Sanity? Don't worry about it. And if anything survives, Ryosho will take care of it.
나아가주게.
That's very good. I like that.
편히 쉬시게.
And then he rolled all tails. Reload and kill.
편히 쉬시게.
Look at him go. That's a very good tag team combo right there. So we can use Sun Shower on Lobotomy, E.G.O Sullen Lament, E.G.O Yisang to power up his mag dump skill in the turn that Sun Shower is used and the turn after. And we also got Sun Shower the statuette, which is absolutely ridiculous. Wow. That is good. That is fun. And Ryosho is still yapping, and we're already at another combat node. That is 10 pages. Again, the What's it called? Ah, it's the same fight again. God damn it. Alright. Now, we already know how to handle these guys, so we're just gonna go for it. Again, Crime and Punishment is going to be one of our longest books, not counting Hong Luke because I'm scared of how many books there are gonna be on that one. So Crime and Punishment is gonna be some 400 pages, and it's gonna be a lot of streams, and maybe I'll have to do a little extra sometimes. Who knows? Actually, go to that one.
수에선 벗어났나?
Right. He's saying, let's get your bullets out, my brother. That could be. I want to try to do something with Isang right now. I want him to have his skill tree ready so we can mag dump these guys into oblivion. Together with Isang's sanity, but he kills to get sanity back, so he'll be fine. Let's see. No mag dump in sight. Time to use Wishing Care. Kill that guy and AoE those guys. Ryoshu. Hopeless, huh? Oh, too bad this guy is low health. He's paralyzed, that's why. Oh, we were paralyzed. We could have used the negative coin. Ah, damn it. I didn't pay attention to their status effects. I'd lost a good opportunity to deal good damage there. White. Right. There we go. We have one mag dump in the pocket. We're ready to go. We're ready to blast. Kill that guy before you can do anything. Kill that guy and hit that guy. The bleed killed him. Boink, 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 boink. I'll be entirely honest, for all the Lobotomy E.G.O stuff that we could have gotten for Ising, I didn't expect gun kata to be one of his main things. Right, Ryoshu, you ready to rock? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. So am I. Might be that you won't even get a chance to rock. Powerful. Oh, não começa. Eu tô vendo você aí. Pode sair daí. Não, pode sair daí. Time for the drifting fox. Drifting fox can judgment cut you for some reason. Right, let's get that mag dump out of the way. Let him go. There is an option I disabled on the options that allows us to end the battle before the announcer finishes talking, and well, we don't get to see what Ryoshu says at the end of the battle. But I can always look that on my own time. Alright, on to the shop. What does the shop awaits for me? Late bloomer tattoos for pride skills, I'll take it. And pendant nostalgia for random boys. Upgrade our stuff. We're gonna upgrade UPS system because it's cool and good. We're gonna do a little refresh, get talisman bundle. Talisman bundles allows us to inflict a decent amount of rupture per hit. And we do inflict a lot of rupture. Well, we do hit enemies a lot, and we don't inflict rupture, but you get what I mean. We're gonna upgrade Carmilla as well, because that will allow us to... Oh, rebate token, my beloved. You're working today, huh? There we go. Carmilla allows us to build chunk damage at the beginning of an unfocused battle. And before we go into the side, I am going to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
That's nice.
Maintenance day. I don't have to worry about the time frame. I'm back. Isn't know how triple status things you can make? I don't know, old Pat meme, because I don't usually dabble into that. Once I run out of ideas to review, I'll probably have to dabble into like multiple status effects themes or something. Anyway, off we go. Sorry. Anyway, I don't indulge in the kind of like, oh, I want to make the triple stat thing or whatever. While it is fun, it is not something I actively seek because by default, the mirror dungeon is already very busted. It's very difficult to fail a mirror dungeon. We only really fail the mirror dungeon when we, you know, get fully hard countered and we are running a solo team or something like that. Plus coin drop status thing. That is somewhat possible. There are at least a few units that have plus coin, but they aren't gonna mesh together. Let me take a look at that. God damn it. No. There we go. How are you on a mech dump? Your setting is not the best right now, but we'll mech dump anyway. Oh, this is the unclassable one, isn't it? Better if I bust you out right now, then. Mech dump! Stagger dump! Followed by a serious skullbuster. 40 row? That was a very good tag team combo there. I loved every moment of that. Kill him. Mag dump him again, you sang. Very good. So, from the top of my head, I know that Gregor has Edgar family Gregor has plus coin drop, plus coin boost. So we have I think we have twin pirates Gregor. And oh no, I'm thinking about plus coin boost, not plus. Ah. Oh, sorry. Plus coin drop is the opposite of plus coin boost. Coin drop. Which identities have coin drop? I think Gregor with the Kurokumo team has drop, plus coin drop. Memory does not fail me, and it usually does. Terrible choices all around here. Oops. So Kurokumo Gregor has it, I'm fairly sure. Don't remember how to activate it, but I know he has. Followed by, I think, Corp Heathcliff? I'm not entirely sure, but I think Corp Heathcliff has plus coin drop. And I don't remember the other two.
관념봉인.
Yeah, so I guess there's probably a few more there. Maybe probably can make a team like that. But it's a very powerful debuff that is difficult to activate for a reason.
나아가주게.
Crushed.
이제 쉼프에서 벗어났나?
그대들의 면면이.
There we go, and more bullets for the. Since you are using a block, I will not bother you because your block gives you protection. Yeah, because plus coin drop is an incredibly powerful debuff. That's why we don't choose that buff for the enemies in the mirror dungeon, because how powerful it is. At worst, it's plus 1 power. At worst, it's plus 3 or plus 4, depending on how many coins the attack has. You want to see what the hell looks real quick? Get a bunch of plus coin power up and go fight Leihang in the Mirror Dungeon Extreme. See how that Savage Tiger Slayer is gonna hit different. You are going to be moving different after that, I guarantee you. Alright, give me a reload and blast that fool. You're gonna do less damage because it is sloth damage, but such is life. By the way, tomorrow, or I'm not sure. Tomorrow I want to do the Reflect trial in the afternoon, but there is a game that I've been dying to play on stream, which is not Project Moon related. I know, terrible. The streamers should only play a lot of Project Moon stuff, and I kind of like it. But I've been dying to play it on stream because it is good. It's Gloomwood. It is early access, and you know, early access is early access and all that. But I've been dying to play it, and I probably am going to reserve either this Sunday or I don't know. Yeah, probably this Sunday to play it here on stream. Depending on which day my friend is going to continue the campaign, because we were in a very fun combat encounter last tabletop session, and I'm very eager to hit that critical hit with Ryonosuke. Because holy baby, I am so ready for it. Of course, not gonna kill the boss in a single hit, and I kind of treating that's gonna do that, and I still have to win the clash against a very powerful laser, but I'm confident in my character's ability to roll high and hit hard. So we're gonna see how that's gonna go, but we still have to revive Austin, which died and then burned and then died again. Kind of a whoopsie there, but we really don't have a lot of friends falling in combat, and I still got a question what the fuck we was trying to do there. Right, combat node complete. That is 13 pages. Up to the next.
관념봉인.
Ah, fuck off. These enemies again. Alright. At least we have Yi-Sang this time around and we know how to handle them. So hit them with his Sun Shower because they're weak to Pierce. And, well, I want them gone.
딱
I think they're weak to pierce and sloth, so this is gonna be deliciously powerful.
이 스며들 듯한 비.
Strike down from the heavens, ye sang. I don't think that's staggered, and this is bad news. It means we're gonna be bound to hell and back. Alright, here we go.
싸움을 기대하겠소.
Right, Ryoshi, I think it's your turn to do something cool. So, hit in with a great Tricilio Cosmos, and Yiseng mops up whatever's left.
먹어치워라.
The great Tricilio Cosmos, 3 swords.
세 번 배웠다. 과거를 1000번 단주하여 배워.
I feel like the color of the flame is a little muted there, so it's not very good.
찰나의 일수.
That is on my side of things. It's not on your side. That sound effect on
단순다이세.
phone ringing, so don't worry about it. That didn't stagger anyone, Ryoshi. What the hell? And there goes our speed.
편히 쉬시게.
One guy down,
적확한 한압이었어.
and they got that healing on time now.
사람을 단축한.
Alright, Yiseng, do what you gotta do.
나아가 주게. 이 스며들 듯한 비. 우산이 새진 않았겠소.
Very good. No stagger in sight, but 2 kills. That's what counts.
지금이다. 해골빵은 거미 대가리. 자! 이제 싱 수에선 벗어났나?
They're up to some trickery. You should watch out. Those lines are so weird. Right, we have 1 sloth power up and sloth damage up. Means we can keep the rain flowing, I suppose. Better than that, we can do Wishing Cairn as well for their both pierce damage attacks.
대가리.
And these enemies are weak to pierce, I am fairly sure.
복을 구하고 싶다면 정성을 들여
Throw them
빌어보시오.
rocks! How is this dueling pierce damage? I don't know, but it is. Very interesting that Thunder Towers gives sloth damage up and sloth power up being a sloth power E.G.O itself, because if you keep repeating it, it's gonna keep keeping up that strength, keeping up that power, pumping that gas, which is very nice, I suppose. Boink, boink. This thing is very good at throwing rocks, yes.
나아가 주게.
That makes me think, how many people do you think uses Ling on Project Moon Universe? You know, the rock on the thing and you spin it and you throw it? Because that's one of like the OG ranged weapons you can make. And it is very powerful, don't be mistaken, as silly as it looks, it is incredibly powerful. You can kill someone with it. Just look at the classicals on the Bible, where a small kid kills a giant with a rock. Or how two brothers, one killed the other with a rock, and then one turns into a vampire. As punishment. You know, punishment for killing your brother, superpowers. Yeah, sure, you're damned for eternity, but hey, you're super strong, you're fast, you're invisible. You just have to, you know, have a sippy here and there. Alright, give me Starlight. I need me Starlight. That's another combat node complete, so that's another page we're gonna be reading today. And it's good that we complete plenty of combat nodes, because, again, ooh, I've been getting a lot of these. I insert a coin. And who is an unlucky boy? Me! that is going to be them again, isn't it? It's going to be the goddamn motherfuckers. Gift charge tremor. A tremor eagle gift? Oh, we gained the bonus. What's it called? If the third deployed unit gains power, so we can't use that, unfortunately. They changed that. They added a new one. That's cool. Look at that, Dawn. Yep, knew it. It's these motherfuckers again. Are they actually weak to Pierce? That's my question. Yeah, they're fatal to Pierce, but normal against Sloth, so... Or, you know, making rain attack still is useful. One of them is gone. Very nice. Right. One more time. Now we hit them with the sun shower. We're burning through E.G.O resources right now, and we have deactivated some E.G.O some passives by abusing our E.G.Os, but you get it back. It's for a necessary cause, you know. You change your mind midway, buddy? All right, Yusang, make it rain again for us, boy. I know you're an engineer. I know you have money. Most important thing about this E.G.O is that it gives you protection. That is already pretty good. All right, Moises, I'll see you around. Come back when you are charged up for grand story time featuring Rodion Romanovich from Crime and Punishment. Alright, keeping on. We can probably fight this guy just normal now. We need our resources back. We lost our healing because we no longer have gluttony. And we lost the damage bonus from Honglu as well. Bang! Another one come. Right, how is our bullets, Yisang? Alright, I will have you reload and then mag dump someone. And we're paralyzed. That is not going to be a good mag dump. School busted. Now we go to the serious school buster. Loaded. And alright, still good. We're still good. Lots of enemies, but we are keeping on. Because of Ryoshu's healing and the shield from the patrolling flashlight, we are staying our ground, which is a very good combo. Ryoshu is this Ryoshu is an incredible unit. Damage, support, debuffs. That's delicious to use. If I start making teams like that are optimized for, you know, doing stuff, I might just start taking her as one of the charge team captains or something, because that is incredibly good. Or Bleed, honestly, but Bleed I use for Kurokumo, so. Alright. Yisang, reload time, brother. You're actually rolling higher than me. Now we're gonna meg dump you. Bang.
적확한 한압이었어.
One more time. Keep that gun full rolling. Keep that gun kata flowing. Still not dead? Alright, finish him off. Let me clean the page we have collected from our book.
내 죄는 내가 알아서 처리한다.
Mm-hmm.
하지만 슬슬 물리는군.
I read a decent chunk of the book every now and then, and it's not gonna take 500 years, which is my biggest fear, honestly. Eventually, I will run out of ideas to reveal since I do a team every day. At that point, I'm gonna be stuck, you know, doing whatever's. Ooh, golden urn, I'll take it. And curriculum vitae, I'll take it. God damn it, I didn't see the prestige card there. Fuck it, I'll take it now. Archery snare. Yep, more damage. Let's enhance our stuff. Let's get that curriculum vitae to maximum strength. Let's fuse for our lovely damage up gauntlets, the wrist guards, which are very good to have. And we got a defibrillator instead. That's exactly what I wanted. Thank you. Go fuck yourself. Let's see here. We don't use burn, so we can sacrifice that with no problem, or flash. So give me what I want, what I really want. It is that. Thank you. Big damage. Let's see. What else can sacrifice here? We use bleed, we use card. We don't use rupture, but I already upgraded. This one is actually worthless because it requires 5 allies with charge, and we don't have that. So we upgrade wrist guards again, and if we can upgrade this one as well. Would be very cool. We can sell the scissors. We don't use slash damage in this team. So enhance the curriculum vitae. There we go. We got a triple charge damage up combo, which is UPS system, wrist guards, and curriculum vitae. With UPS system, we gain 2 damage up and a bit of charge. With wrist gauntlets, we gain another 2 damage up. And if the ally has pride, that's 3 damage up. So we are already looking at 40% damage up, possibly 50% damage up. And with the curriculum vitae, we gain haste and we gain power up if we have gloom. So both of these will affect E.G.O. And let me check here. Where is Ryoshu? Ryoshu has gloom but does not have pride. So she is gaining power up, but not the extra damage up, which is, you know, understandable. She already deals a lot of damage. All right, this is pretty good. Let's keep it going. Again, the sound effect from the mic from the cell phone is here on my screen. It's not your cell phone. Don't bother looking. I will have to figure out how to mute notifications for Instagram. But we'll do that later. Anyway, we have a worm to kill. Let's kill that worm. The sinful worm, the centipede that eats your turn count. Right. Truly mech dump him, not gift. Let's keep building up so we can get the big damage combo out. Big damage combo, I mean we use Sun Shower and then follow up with a mech dump. And then next turn we have another mech dump to make use of that sloth power and damage up that Sun Shower provides us. Boink, boink, boink. It actually damaged me. How are we looking here, Yusang? She's gonna skull bust. It's not time for skull busting yet. Boink, boink.
걱정 마시오.
Right, next turn, I think it's gonna coil up, so we're gonna prepare for it.
생명은 어떻게라도 보존될 테니.
He's saying how are we looking here in regards of ammo, sanity, and upcoming attacks. No skill tree in sight, so we keep fighting, we keep beating, we keep, you know, getting our stuff up. Right, he's saying you need to reload. I think it's the next turn that we're gonna get stuff going. Right. We need to make sure that the centipede does not pull a funny on us. We actually have to, what's it called? Exhaust its shield when it does the coil up again, because it eats up all its self-charge. It can't revive. Stagger. Are you coiling up? Right, stop it. Stop the coiling right now. Loses 3 self-charge. Now we have to beat the tar out of it, and I do believe we can with a few E.G.O busters. Maybe overkill, but we're gonna do it anyway. This is actually gonna be a lot of overkill now that I think of it. What do we do here then? Mag dump it and block twice. That should be more than enough to deal 260 damage. We might just do hit 260 damage with this E.G.O buster itself. Yeah. So let's not obliterate the worm in a single go.
지금이다. 해골바가 거미 대가리. 이렇게 차려졌지 않나?
Kill it. It's gonna kill it. Yeah, no, good. We exhausted the shield. It actually killed it in optimal time. Whew. Play the gimmick. 218. Very good. Very nice. Alright, give me a random tier gift here and another page collected for our book reading in just another floor. I do believe this was 4th floor. We're gonna go to floor 5 now. None of these are good. Let's take these and we keep going, keep it flowing. Rusty coin, don't use it. Floor 5, Unrelenting Might, the Unsevering, or Nocturnal Sweeping. I don't like either of those. Give me a refresh. The Unchanging or Tangling Lust. I do believe we're gonna go for Tangling Lust. Dangling Lust. Alright. Let's go for the bottom path so we can get some gifts. Pull out the blood from it. Give it to me. I am so thirsty for it. Mystery pack, please. It's a droplet. The Faust analogy. Let's comfort Faust. Who better to comfort Faust than Ryoshu, the serial killer? Let's get into the focus encounter and deal with whatever is weak to gloom, slot, and pierce. Oh my, it's almost as if Yiseng was tailor-made to kill whatever the fuck we're gonna be fighting here. It's trash crabs! I despise them! Yiseng! Get them off my screen! They're disgusting! Get away from me, you fucking weirdos! Crush them! Remind these crabs that you are made in God's image and not them! Yes, do it again. We have the coin. Oh, this way it actually can get like a 6% damage up and 2 power up on this loft next turn. That's gonna be busted. Yeah. Oh my. Oh my. If only I had a mag dump this round. Kinda wish I put Yiseng first, because while Ryoshu is incredibly good ID, she has good flash power, good hit power, inflicts bleed, heals health, heals sanity for himself and allies, has an incredibly powerful skill tree. Yiseng just is a little bit more fun to play because of his gimmick. Like right now I can mag dump this poor creature twice, and that's exactly what we're gonna do because fuck him. And this is what I care most about when I'm playing on ID. Is the ID fun to play? Because sure, I could get like the most powerful ID in the universe that rolls like a 50 with its skill 1 and obliterates the enemy in a single hit. That's not fun to play.
하지만 슬슬 물리는군.
Because yeah, I could go for a super optimized team, and that's why I don't like discussion about power scaling IDs. But if the ID is not fun to play for me, I'm not gonna use it. Because if it is fun, it's fun. If it's not, it's not. Most of the Lobotomy E.G.O IDs are fun to use. Yeah, all of them are fun to use. Maybe even no Dawn, Lantern Dawn is not that fun. It's just a simple tank, but it's a 0/0 ID. So what the hell? What do I know? All right, we start off strong. We could use Sun Shower again, and we're abusing the hell out of this because, god damn it, it's strong. To obliterate them completely. They're staggered. Well, let's make good use of it. This might bite me in the ass because we did not build up our skill slots, which could have used 2 turns to build up our skill slots. And, well, as you're gonna see, I'm not gonna be able to defend myself next turn. Right, no, we're good, we're good. We didn't do a lot of damage. Time to recover your sanity, you saying. Now they recover, and we only have 4 slots, but we're getting attacked by several slots, but we'll make do. Stagger. I think this is the first stagger we received. Alright, Ryosh, we're gonna have full double duty here. And we're gonna do that by double blasting them with E.G.Os. Which I don't think is gonna be enough, but we're gonna try anyway. Oh, I had always my eyes. There's another. How much foreshadowing do we have on these E.G.Os, man? Because her whole doing the whole thing, I always had my eye on you drawing the sword and then killing someone. That's just how the spiders, especially with the latest idea, you know. Oh, chat disconnected. Please wait, we're trying to reconnect you. What the hell? Did my internet go off? No, it's still rolling. Oh, no, it's successfully reconnected. Anyway. Now I'm gonna sit down and look at every E.G.O and say, this has been foreshadowed by the abnormality soda, which, you know, it's an allegory for food. No, I'm not gonna sit down, but how many of these have like serious some serious foreshadowing? Because all of them are chosen for a reason. We know that much. Blast him, you sang. Reload it. Blast that one too. Blasted. Died from bleed. Oh, this guy's hit hard. Now this is an elite node, so. Oof. Oh, staggered again, you sang. It's bad. There's the thing she'd say at the beginning when she double kills Heathcliff and Ishmael. Trenches. So right against... I didn't read all that. Right against scrying hogs, it tails scragging? Or something like that. No one would have figured that out, honestly. I don't know what the fuck that means. I'm not smart to begin with. I don't know why I say it, but even I wouldn't know it. Not even yours, just mine. That thing is hell. Release. Oh!
하지만 슬슬 물리는군.
Boy,
근처에 융수염이라는 군 거를 파는
IDs
곳이
to
있나?
use, but I prefer Queen of Hatred Dawn. That's a more fun ID to mess around with. Because these are very straightforward and easy to use. That's another combat node, by the way. That's 19. We might be hitting 21 today, which is Blackjack. Very nice.
죽음 충동 억제. 관념 봉.
Very fitting, too, that we hit 21 pages to read about the gambler of the team, which is Rhodia. Even though I don't think Raskolnikov is a gambler on the book. But still, very, very funny. The crabs are being merciful on me today, huh?
대가리 딱 떼도. 하! 으타! 더 먹어치워라!
By the way, I'm trying to do a different style of streaming. I mean, different style of narrating what I'm doing here. Mostly around the idea of actually explaining what I'm doing. Not in this turn, because I'm explaining this, but still, try to explain what the hell am I doing, what E.G.Os I'm getting, for what purpose. Because I realize that I can just play the game in automatic because I know sort of how things work. I've been playing this for 60 days straight now, kind of. So I have an idea of what I'm doing here. So if I don't explain what I'm doing, it can go like that. Oh, he's just playing the game on automatic. Which is not the purpose of the stream. Purpose of the stream is to try and teach something, which is kind of what I want to do. I don't know. Anyway, we actually do that now. After this, let the crabs eat themselves. I don't mind. Boink, boink, boink. Crab eliminated, and another crab is about to become a green splatter on the ground. There we go. Now they eat each other. Good job, crabs. You there are the crabs of all time. And since you are so eager to fight each other, I'm gonna let you. I'm not gonna stop you. Go ahead and fight each other. Boink. Hey, after this combat encounter, or upcoming streams, actually, I'm gonna explain what I'm doing with the ID. This might end up taking more time during the stream, but at least it will make sense to, you know, what the hell is the streamer doing instead of just playing by default. 10 coin power? Yes, we're pretty powerful right now. These IDs are very powerful. Anyway, crab torture. I just want to see the crab kill him. Are you gonna keep fighting each other? Yes, but now you've done the mistake of using an AoE, so I'm gonna have to summarily execute you. Face the wall, Mr. Krabs. And so do you. You die too. Face the wall, Krabs. White, white.
구, on, 올. 하지만 슬슬 물리는군. 근처에
Cats are moving here. Because they're trying to knock over something on my shelves there. I don't like what I'm trying to do. One second.
그럼 오늘 림 컴보 회식 메뉴는 수박을 곁들인 용수형 과자로 결정하지.
We're still talking, so let's see what we get here. So we are a charge team, so we're going to be taking pocket charge here, pocket battery socket that gives us charge when we activate sloth resonance or by existing. Rags deals more damage with your max SP, which is nice, but only affects Yiseng. So does Cantabil, which gives us sanity heal on hit if the target has 5+ sinking. So it's another sanity healing by default. We don't need to upgrade Carmilla anymore because we're the final boss, so we don't need to upgrade anything. We're gonna upgrade Material Interference Force Field just to have, like, protection. Very important to use protection. Oh, we're bait token, right? Upgrade the flashlight, upgrade the material field, and we got some shield going on at the beginning. Let's get down to it. Now, let's experiment the whole thing I was talking about, where I'm trying to explain my strategy and what I'm doing when I'm targeting. Right now, we're gonna be fighting Nicolina, which is painful, I realize, because she applies a lot of bleed. A lot of it. So, we are going to avoid getting bleed count max to fucking oblivion, and we're gonna clash against the skill that have bleed count application. Unfortunately, Ryoshu is slow as shit. Slower than her for some reason. And Yisang has been solo targeted by her, and he is normal to slash. So this is gonna hurt. Unless I do something, Yisang is fucked. He's gonna get hit several times, and all of them are gonna apply bleed. He's gonna apply true count, and he's gonna, you know, get shafted. So we could use a Figurucci here just to save him, and I'm gonna do exactly that, because fuck you. You're not killing my depressed forward. No. Let's do a neutral. I'm gonna activate E.G.O to start getting our power up, and we're gonna inflict debuff on her. Come on, Isang. Come on, Isang. You had max sanity, my boy. All that I did for nothing. The objective here was to avoid getting hit with bleed count. Does it twice. Hit her twice.
맛볼 시간이다.
Yeah. And stagger. 4 counts of bleed, 25 bleed. That is horrid. Right, let's get it done. Which one of these apply bleed count? 2 of them, and this one apply suing target. Deep laceration hit next turn. Rock and roll Ryoshu. That coin kind of fucked me over here today. Ryoshu's weak to slash. Alright, recovered. We have 3 billion bleed and not enough things to heal us here. So we could paralyze her, I suppose. None of the attacks are coming after us because Ryoshu currently is marked for death. And this is a target fix, huh? Target is to kill the target. Yeah, no, Ryoshu's dying, straight up dying. I don't think Yiseng can solo this, but we're gonna try it anyway. We're not crybabies here. We're gonna try our best. We are full sanity, and because we have a lot of bleed, she's gaining coin power, I believe. Yep. And we're also bleeding to hell and back, so. Yep. Ryoshu's just going to straight up die, so there's not much I can do here. We're gonna try the solo Yiseng here, but with the amount of bleed he has, he's probably gonna die before we can do anything. I blame that first clash loss that we got, and the coin fucking me over with sanity on Ryoshu. He's gonna die. No, he's already dead. Too much bleed, 2 staggers in a row. Well, let's see that battle to the end until we die. Step. And dead. Retry.
또한 염원하던 것을 무엇 하나 똑바로 이루지 못했다. 아비들을 내 손으로 죽이지도
Try
못해.
that again.
소중했던 무언가를 지켜내지
Helena is quite powerful because of the bleed application, and we are not
그
tanky enough to deal with it, but we're gonna try it anyway. Right. Flash against the thing that inflict bleed count, because it's the most dangerous thing right now. And win, please. We can take a bit of bleed and that will be fine, but the problem is having too much bleed count. We can remove bleed by just clashing. Sure, it's pure damage that we're going to be taking and dead. Alright, so spread the damage out a little bit, so that's good. 16 damage, 8 damage. We are doing well enough. Yiseng, can you take care of that for me? Here we go. Ryoshu! Right, her sanity is now in the gutter. Good. Yi-Sang is marked.
걱정 마시오.
She's gonna hard focus him now. She gains 5 clash power against a target that has the mark, so that is less than ideal. Yeah, we're gonna have to do what we gotta do. We gotta do what we gotta do. Gotta take one for the team, Yi-Sang. At least you're not fatal to slash, like Ryoshu, so you probably can take this a little bit better, but you are not exactly a tank unit, so... Fucking health. Stagger, follow to with death, I believe. Yep, that's a death. Ryoshu, you're gonna have to raw dog this.
벗어날 수 있었을지.
Ooh, it might have hit a powerful roadblock here. With just 2 characters, this is a bit of a tough fight with no evades on top of that. Right, she's gonna use it twice and lose all her sanity. That's fine with me.
지켜보고 있었지.
Alright, we're gonna get hit twice now. Thrice, actually. There's 2 AoEs that we can take care of. Ah, it's a stagger. Yeah, no, this is a game over here for us. Oh. Even if we do survive this barrage of attacks, the amount of bleed on self right now is more than our entire HP bar, so that's another retry. Oh boy, this is time to lock in and time to earn those pages we have earned. Read the book. It's already been 2 hours, and it's taken more than expected. But here we go. Right, main damage type for new is a mixed bag. You're mostly hitting us with Gluttony, you have the Wrath AoEs, Lust AoE, and Pride. Gluttony and Pride. Any E.G.Os that you make you resistant to Gluttony or Pride. Dimension Shredder. And Stun Shower. Let's use Stun Shower because that gives us protection. And how are you, Ryoshu, in terms of Gluttony? You take double damage from Gluttony. That's why you're getting beaten the hell up. Best one is gonna be too great to trigger cost, but that's gonna tank our sanity to... Fuck. It's... Damage reduction is important, so let's do that. My objective here is to survive right now, and we're gonna focus on that. Once we have enough skill slots to properly clash against her, things are gonna go a lot better. And he corroded. That is not what we agreed on, Yi-Sang. Goddamn, the coin is screwing me over here. Again, we're not doing the E.G.O for damage here, we're doing the E.G.O for damage reduction. Because we're currently weak to her damage types. It's a little bit better, but we're still gonna get staggered. Doubly so. Thank you, Yi-Sang. We could have survived that without a stagger if Yi-Sang didn't corrode, but he did. So there's not much we can do about that. Oh boy. Neutral. You're not bleeding, right? You're not bleeding. But you will be soon. So don't count on it. Everything we have is corrodable. The coin is really screwing me over here. bleeding, we're bleeding, we're bleeding, we're bleeding a lot.
피, 긁어, 신,
Oh, that's a lot
오일.
of bleed.
짜증나는
We're getting a little
시선.
better. We are actually surviving.
앞으로
Good.
한
Here
번만
is Cobuster.
기분 나쁜 눈빛으로
Bust
내
up.
검을 힐끔힐끔
Hopeless situation. Struggling, struggling.
뭐
You gotta regain your sanity somehow, my dude. I am willing to use Era on you so that you can actually hit. You know what? Let's try that. Ryosho is pretty untankable right now. So if we use Era on him, not only will he be able to hit with his bullets, he will raise his, sanity. The only thing that is going to be a problem still is the bleed.
나
So here we go. Stupid blood fiend, I cannot be staggered. And the more we clash, the more bleed I lose. Because I cannot be killed either.
편히 쉬시게.
Good. Successful offense on base of E.G.O Ryoshi. Yep, she is very strong.
검이 돼가.
Now this is gonna heal Yusang for a little bit.
제 행위. 그렇다.
Now he's unstaggerable, but the problem is the bleed. 5 billion he has on himself.
허파에
24 bleed.
찰 것만 같은
And his HP is at 20. And she has a few unbreakable attacks here. So we are in a bit of a pickle still. Let's see. That attack is going to kill us because he's low on health. And being low on health is bad because that attack is an insta kill. She has AoEs. He is bleeding more than he has HP for, and one of these attacks cannot be flashed right now because, again, we're in a bad situation. Ryosho might have to tank all of this by herself, honestly. Our emo boy is going to die, unfortunately. Unless he can recover a lot of HP right now, which I don't see how. Right, Yusang, I believe in you, boy. Yusang, me boy.
색색이 황홀하고 아예 기억 못하게
Damage, but no
길이구려.
healing coming out of nowhere there. Use it again, sure.
색색이 황홀하고
Just got rid of his bleed, but the AoE is still gonna
못하게
kill
이르는
him.
길이구려.
Please stop, Moises, I just realized what you're doing. I just realized what you're doing. Don't torture me like that. It's not that I have a particular propensity to hating the fucking meme, it's just that it's everywhere. Ow. Yusang didn't die. I am amazed. Look at this boy go, and now we have enough slots to clash against everything and win. Amazing. Fantastic even. Except this one, we can't do anything about that one. Yusang, you might want to take care of that for us?
대가리 딱 떼도.
I'm bleeding. Divine intervention levels of survival. Yeah, he is holding on to dear life there. And this is what I love. This is the type of combat that I love. And I actually have, do I do this, that, and that? Actually, tactical fight instead of just like hit with the big damage to deal the big number. Actually, we shouldn't have used E.G.O because that's gonna. Actually, we can win clashes now, so it's not much of a problem. The only problem we were having before is that we were getting hit unsidedly against sin affinities that we were weak to. And now that we are properly clashing and fighting and beating, we don't need to worry too much about, you know, getting hit. We have slots now, more slots than her now. We survived the first round, so we get to fight good. Bash her skull in, Ryoshu. And we lost the stagger threshold here.
적확한 한압이었어.
He's not straight up not having a good time, bro. I know a lot of people that dislike this music. I like this music. This music is cool. It's a cool song, right? Go, fight, kill, survive. Earn your place among the heavens. Valhalla awaits you.
지금이다. 해골바가지 거미 대가리. 차!
The fight. This is a pro. I love this. Valhalla awaits you, Yiseng and Ryoshu. Claim your place amongst my most powerful warriors. Bing! Bing bong. It is time to finish this. We are faster than you are. I could have Yiseng finish you off with the mag dump, and I'm going to do exactly that. This is the stupid decision I make at the moment where we are going to lose the combat, so please bear with my autism. I want Yiseng to finish this off, and he will. Kill her! Bang! Ice cold, just to pop a cap in her ass. Bang! Very good, very cool. We have earned our 21 pages of crime and punishment today. No, we're not going to separate parallel superposition. Really even split, 80%, I call it almost an even split here between the two of them. Very nice. Especially because Ryoshu got the advantage because she was the first deployed, so she gets skill slot before him. But final thoughts, these are very good IDs. Yiseng is very fun to play around with his gimmick. A bit of mentally unstable, so you might lose a few clashes because of the sanity up and down from reloading the gun. While Lobotomy, Red Eyes, and Penitence Ryoshu is an incredible unit. She only lacks an AoE, but you can compensate with the E.G.O. Since she has both Red Eyes, E.G.O, and I'm fairly sure this ID will fuel whatever E.G.O resources you need to use the E.G.O attacks. So you can sort of compensate her lack of an AoE with that. But other than that, she deals damage, she's tanky, she heals sanity, she heals health. She is a fantastic unit. I love it. It's very good. Alrighto. Ladies and gentlemen, with our ID study and mirror dungeon complete, the time for gameplay is over. In other words, now we're gonna do our nerd shit. That's right, it's time for book reading. And today's book, after we have finished Ryoshu's bizarre adventure, Ryoshu's fun time as a painter, we are going to be looking at a character that didn't get a proper canto. We're going to be looking at Rodion Raskolnikov. Now, I do require some water before we start this up, so I'm going to load up the book. We have 21 pages to read today. I am going to set it up here. Just give me a moment. Book reading window, book reading, select crime and punishment. There it is. Now, I'm gonna get myself a cup of water. I will be right back. And then we have 21 pages out of 467 to read. Now, do bear in mind that we start at page 35 on this because it is a long book, has a lot of intro material at the beginning. So let's get ourselves comfortable. Now, I'm gonna go get my water. I'll be right back. Alright. E.G.O usage, E.G.O damage resistance is to ensure that your unit survive. Because we went from getting creamed over and over by Nicolina to actually taking damage like a champ and surviving. Now, here we go. So before we begin, we are going to look at the author a little bit. Look at this man. This is a man that wrote the book Crime and Punishment. Fyodor. Fyodor Dostoyevsky. Look at him. This is the face of a Russian depressed man, probably, most likely. In any case, there's a little map of the area that it all happens in. It's a very nice map. I like it. I use it on my RPG. Anyway, here we go. Chapter 1. Again, we have 21 pages to read, so we are going to be stopping at page 56. Right? Get ourselves comfortable. I am going to mute Limbus Company because I realized that the sound effect from Limbus Company playing on the background, while it is a nice song, I feel it is unfitting for some of these stories, which kind of prevents me from going back and picking up the stories and cutting up and making a video out of it, but that's the point. But in any case, let's go. Chapter 1. On an exceptionally hot evening early in July, a young man came out of the tiny room which he rented from the tenants in S Place and walked slowly, as though in hesitation, towards K Bridge. He had successfully avoided meeting his landlady on the stairs. His closet of a room was under the roof of a high 5-floor house and was more like a cupboard than a place in which to live. The landlady who provided him with a room and with dinner and service lived on the floor below. Every time he went out, he was obliged to pass her kitchen, the door of which was always open. And each time he passed, the young man had a sick, frightened feeling, which made him grimace and feel ashamed. He was hopelessly in debt to his landlady and was afraid of meeting her. This was not because he was a cowardly and brown-beaten, quite the contrary. But for some time past he had been in an overstrained, irritable condition, verging on hypochondria. He had become so completely absorbed in himself and isolated from everyone else that he dreaded meeting not only his landlady, but anyone at all. He was crushed by poverty, but even the anxieties of his position had recently ceased to weigh upon him. He had given up attending to matters of practical importance. He had lost all desire to do so. In fact, nothing that any landlady could do held any terror for him, but to be stopped on the stairs, to be forced to listen to her trivial, irrelevant gossip, to pestering demands for payment, threats, and complaints, all the while racking his brain for excuses, avoiding the issue, lying. No, he would rather creep down the stairs like a cat, slip out unseen. However, when he emerged onto the street that evening, he became acutely aware of his fears. I want to attempt a thing like that, and I am frightened by these trifles, he thought with an odd smile. Yes, everything is in someone's hands, and they let it all slip out of cowardice. That is an axiom. It would be interesting to know what it is people are most afraid of. Taking a new step, uttering a new word is what they fear most, but I am talking too much. It's because I babble that I do nothing, or perhaps it is that I babble because I do nothing. I've learned to babble this last month, lying for days on end in my corner thinking just nonsense. Why am I going there now? Am I capable of that? Is that seriously possible? I'm not serious about it at all. It's just a fantasy to amuse myself, a plaything. Yes, maybe it is a plaything. The heat in the street was terrible, and the airlessness, the bustle, the plaster, the scaffolding, the bricks, and the dust all around him, and that special speederbug stench, so familiar to everyone who is unable to get out of town during the summer, all worked painfully upon the young man's already overwrought nerves. The unbearable stench from the taverns, which are particularly numerous in that part of town, and the drunken man who he met continually, although it was a weekday, completed the revolting misery of the picture. An expression of the deepest disgust gleamed for a moment in the young man's refined face. He was, by the way, exceptionally handsome. Above average in height, slim, well-built, with beautiful dark eyes and dark brown hair. Soon, though, he sank into deep thought. or more accurately, speaking into a complete blankness of mind. He walked along, not observing what was around him and not caring to observe it. From time to time, because he used to talk to himself, he would mutter something, a habit to which he had just confessed. At these moments, he would become conscious that his ideas were sometimes in a tangle and that he was very weak. For 2 days, he had almost nothing to eat. He was so badly dressed that even a man accustomed to shabbiness would have been ashamed to be seen in the street in such rags. In that part of town, however, scarcely any shortcoming in dress would have created surprise. Due to the proximity of the Haymarket, the number of establishments of a certain kind, and the overwhelming number of craftsmen and workers crowded these streets and alleys at the center of Petersburg, so many different types of people were to be seen in the streets that no figure, however strange, would have caused any surprise. But there was such accumulated spite and contempt in the young man's heart that in spite of all the cares of youth, he minded his rags least of all. It was different matter when he met with acquaintances or with former fellow students, whom, indeed, he disliked meeting at any time. And yet, when a drunken man who, for some reason, was being taken somewhere in a huge cart dragged by a heavy cart horse, suddenly shouted at him as he drove past, "Hey there, German hatter!" Bellowing at the top of his voice and pointing at him, the young man stopped suddenly and clutched trembling at his hat. It was a tall, round one from Zimmermann's, but completely worn out, rusty with age, all torn and bespattered, brimless and bent on one side in a most hideous fashion. Not shame, however, but another feeling akin to terror had overtaken him. "I knew it," he muttered in confusion. "I thought so. That's the worst of all. A stupid thing like this, the most trivial detail might spoil the whole plan. Yes, my hat is too noticeable. It looks absurd, and that makes it noticeable. With my rags, I ought to wear a cap, any old pancake, but not this grotesque thing. Nobody would wear hats like this. It would be noticed a mile off. It would be remembered. What matters is that people would remember it, and that would give them a clue. For this business, I should be as unnoticeable as possible. Trifles are what matter. It's just such trifles that always ruin everything." He did not have far to go. He knew indeed how many steps it was from the gate of his house, exactly 730. He had counted them once when he had been lost in dreams. At the time, he had put no faith in those dreams and was only tantalizing himself with their hideous insolence. Now, a month later, he had begun to look upon them differently. And, in spite of the monologues in which he jeered at his own impotence and indecision, he had even involuntarily, as it were, come to regard this hideous dream as an exploit to be attempted. Although he still did not quite believe in this himself, he was now definitely going for a rehearsal of this undertaking of his. At every step, he grew more and more excited. With a sinking heart and a nervous tremor, he went up to a huge house which on the side looked onto the canal, and on the other into the street. This house was let out in tiny apartments, and was inhabited by working people of all kinds. Tailors, locksmiths, cooks, Germans of all sorts, girls picking up a living as best they could, petty clerks, etc. There was a continual coming and going through the two gates and in the two courtyards of the house. 3 or 4 doorkeepers were employed in the building. The young man was very glad not to meet any of them, and at once slipped unnoticed through the door on the right and up the staircase. It was a back staircase, dark and narrow, but he was familiar with it already, and knew his way, and he liked all these surroundings. In such darkness, even the most inquisitive eyes were not to be feared. If I am so scared now, what would it be if somehow came to pass that We're really going to do it? He could not help asking himself as he reached the 4th floor. There his progress was barred by some porters who were moving furniture out of an apartment. He knew that the apartment had been occupied by a German clerk in the civil service, and his family. This German was moving out then, and so the 4th floor on the staircase would be vacant except for the old woman. "That's a good thing anyway," he thought to himself, as he rang the bell of the old woman's flat. The bell gave a faint tinkle, as though it were made of tin and not of copper. The little apartments in such houses always have bells that ring like that. He had forgotten the note of that bell, and now its peculiar tinkle seemed to remind him of something and to bring it clearly before him. He gave a start. His nerves were terribly overstrained by now. A little while, the door was opened a tiny crack. The old woman eyed her visitor with evident distrust through the crack, and nothing could be seen but her little eyes glittering in the darkness. But seeing a number of people on the landing, she grew bolder and opened the door wide. The young man stepped into the dark entryway, which was partitioned off from the tiny kitchen. The old woman stood facing him in silence and looking inquiringly at him. She was diminutive, withered old woman of 60 with sharp, mean eyes and a sharp little nose. Her colorless, somewhat grizzled hair was thickly smeared with oil, and she wore no kerchief over it. Round her thin long neck, which looked like a hen's leg, was knotted some sort of flannel rag, and in spite of the heat, there hung flapping on her shoulders a tattered fur cape, yellow with age. The old woman coughed and groaned at every instant. The young man must have looked at her with a rather peculiar expression, for a gleam of mistrust came into her eyes again. Ratkonikov, a student. I came here a month ago. The young man made haste to mutter with a half bow, remembering that he ought to be more polite. I remember, sir, I remember quite well you coming here, the old woman said distinctly, still keeping her inquiring eyes on his face. And here I am again on the same errand, Raskolnikov continued, a little disconcerted and surprised at the old woman's mistrust. Perhaps she's always like that, I thought. No, sorry. Perhaps she's always like that, though. I only did notice it the other time. He thought with an uneasy feeling. The old woman paused, as though hesitating, then stepped to the side, and pointing to the door of the room, she said, letting her visitor pass in front of her. Step in, sir. The little room the young man walked into, with yellow paper on the walls, geraniums and muslin curtains in the windows, was brightly lit up at that moment by the setting sun. So the sun will shine like this then too, flashed as it were by chance through Raskolnikov's mind, and with a rapid glance he scanned everything in the room, trying as far as possible to notice and remember its arrangement. But there was nothing special in the room. The furniture, all very old and made of yellow wood, consisted of a sofa with a huge bent wooden back, an oval table in front of the sofa, a dressing table with a mirror fixed on it between the windows, chairs along the walls, and 2 or 3 cheap prints in yellow frames, representing German maidens with birds in their hands. That was all. In the corner, a light was burning in front of a small icon. Everything was very clean. The floor and the furniture were brightly polished. Everything shone. Lizaveta's work, thought the young man. There was not a speck of dust to be seen in the whole apartment. It's in the houses of spiteful old widows that one finds such cleanliness, Raskolnikov thought again, and he stole a curious glance at the cotton curtain over the door leading into another tiny room, in which stood the old woman's bed and chest of drawers, and into which he had never looked before. These 2 rooms made up the whole apartment. So, what do you want? The old woman said severely, coming into the room and, as before, standing in front of him as to look him straight in the face. I've brought something to pawn here. And he drew out of his pocket an old-fashioned flat silver watch, on the back of which was engraved a globe. The chain was of steel. But the time is up for your last pledge. The month was up the day before yesterday. I will bring you the interest for another month. Wait a little. That's for me to do as I please, sir, to wait or to sell your pledge at once. How much will you give me for the watch, Alyona Ivanovna? You come with such trifles, sir. It's scarcely worth anything. I gave you 2 rubles last time for your ring, and one could buy it quite a new one at a jeweler for 1.5 rubles. Give me 4 rubles for it. I will redeem it. It was my father's. I will be getting some money soon. 1.5 rubles, and interest in advance, if you like. 1.5 rubles, cried the young man. As you wish, and the old woman handed him back the watch. The young man took it and was so angry that he was on the point of going away, but checked himself at once, remembering that there was somewhere else he could go, and that he had another reason for coming. Hand it over, he said roughly. The old woman fumbled in her pocket for her keys and disappeared behind a curtain into the other room. The young man left standing alone in the middle of the room, listening inquisitively, thinking. He could hear her unlocking the chest of drawers. It must be the top drawer, he reflected, So she carries the keys in a pocket on the right, all in one bunch on a steel ring. There's one key there 3 times as big as all the others, with deep notches. That can't be the key for the chest of drawers, then there must be some other chest or strongbox. That's worth knowing. Strongboxes always have keys like that, but how degrading it all is. The old woman came back. Here, sir, as we say, 10 kopecks the ruble a month. So I must take 15 kopecks from the ruble and a half for the month in advance. But for the 2 rubles I lent you before, you owe me now 20 kopecks on the same reckoning in advance. That makes 35 kopecks altogether, so I must give you a ruble and 15 kopecks for the watch. Here it is. What? Only a ruble and 15 kopecks now? Exactly. The young man did not dispute it and took the money. He looked at the old woman and was in no hurry to get away, as though there was still something he wanted to say or do, but he did not himself quite know what. I may be bringing you something else in a day or two, Alyona Ivanovna. A valuable thing. Silver. Cigarette box. As soon as I get it back from a friend. He broke off in confusion. Well, we will talk about it then, sir. Goodbye. Are you always at home alone? Your sister's not here with you? He asked her as casually as possible as he went out in the passage. What business is she of yours, sir? Oh, nothing in particular. I simply asked. You're too quick. Good day, Alyona Ivanovna. Raskolnikov went out in complete confusion. This confusion became more and more intense. As he went down the stairs, he even stopped short 2 or 3 times, as though suddenly struck by some thought. When he was in the street, he cried out, "Oh God, how loathsome it all is! Can I possibly? No, it's nonsense. It's absurd." He added resolutely. And how could such atrocious thing come into my head? What filthy things my heart is capable of! Yes, filthy above all, disgusting, loathsome, loathsome! And for a whole month I've been... But no words, no exclamations could express his agitation. The feeling of intense repulsion which had begun to oppress and torture his heart while he was on his way to the old woman had by now reached such a pitch and had taken such a definite form that he did not know what to do with himself to escape from his wretchedness. He walked along the pavement like a drunken man, oblivious to the passerby, and jostling against them, and only came to his senses when he was in the next street. Looking around, he noticed that he was standing close to a tavern which was entered by steps leading from the pavement to the basement. At that instant, 2 drunken men came out of the door, and abusing and supporting one another, they mounted the steps. Without stopping to think, Raskolnikov went down the steps at once. Until that moment, he had never been into a tavern, but now he felt dizzy and was tormented by a burning thirst. He longed for a drink of cold beer and attributed his sudden weakness to hunger. He sat down at a sticky little table in a dark and dirty corner, ordered some beer, and eagerly drank off the first glassful. At once he felt relief, and his thoughts became clear. "Oh, that's nonsense," he said hopefully, "and there is nothing in it all to worry about. It's simply physical weakness. Just a glass of beer, a piece of dry bread, and in one moment the brain is stronger, the mind is clearer, and the will is firm. Bah! How utterly petty it all is." But though he spat this out so scornfully, he was by now looking cheerful, as though he were suddenly set free from a terrible burden, and he gazed around in a friendly way at the people in the room. But even at that moment he had a dim foreboding that this happier frame of mind was also not normal. There were people at this time in the tavern. Besides the 2 drunken men he had met on the steps, a group consisting of about 5 men, with a girl and a concertina, had gone out at the same time. Their departure left the room quiet and rather empty. The persons remaining were a man who appeared to be an artisan, drunk but not extremely so, sitting with a beer, and his companion, a huge, stout man, with a grey beard and a short, full-skirted coat. He was very drunk, and had dozed off on the bench. Every now and then, as if in his sleep, he began cracking his fingers, with his arms wide apart and the upper part of his body bouncing about on the bench, while he hummed some meaningless refrain, trying to recall some such lines as these: "His wife a year he stroked and loved, his wife a year he stroked and loved." Or suddenly waking up again, "Walking along the crowded road and met the one he used to know." But no one shared his enjoyment. His silent companion looked at all these outbursts with hostility and mistrust. There was another man in the room who looked somewhat like a retired government clerk. He was sitting apart, sipping now and then from his mug and looking around at the company. He, too, appeared to be somewhat excited. Chapter 2. Raskolnikov was not used to crowds, and, as was said previously, he avoided society of every sort, especially recently. But now, all at once, he felt a desire to be with other people. Something new seemed to be taking place within him, and with it he felt a sort of thirst for company. He was so weary after a whole month of concentrated wretchedness and gloomy excitement that he longed to rest, if only for a moment, in some other world, whatever it might be. And in spite of the filthiness of the surroundings, he was glad now to stay in the tavern. The owner of the establishment was in another room, but he frequently came down to some steps into the main room, his jaunty polished boots with red turnover tops coming into view each time before the rest of him. He wore a full coat and a horribly greasy black satin waistcoat, with no cravat, and his whole face seemed smeared with oil like an iron lock. At the counter stood a boy of about 14, and there was another somewhat younger boy who served the customers. The counter lay some sliced cucumber, some pieces of dried black bread, and some fish chopped up in little pieces. All smelling very bad. It was unbearably humid and so heavy with the fumes of alcohol that 5 minutes in such an atmosphere could well cause drunkenness. We all have chance meetings with people, even with complete strangers who interest us at first glance. Suddenly, before a word is spoken, such an impression made on Raskolnikov by the person sitting a little distance from him, who looked like a retired clerk. The young man recalled this impression afterwards and even ascribed it to the presentiment. He looked repeatedly at the clerk, partly no doubt because the latter was staring persistently at him, obviously anxious to enter in conversation. The clerk looked at the other persons in the room, including the tavern keeper, as though he were used to their company and wary of it, showing at the same time a shade of patronizing contempt for them as members of a culture inferior to his own, with whom it would be useless for him to converse. He was over 50, bald and grizzled, of medium height and stoutly built. His face, bloated from continual drinking, was of a yellow, even greenish tinge with swollen eyelids, out of which keen reddish eyes gleamed like little slits. But there was something very strange in him. There was a light in his eyes as though of intense feeling. Perhaps there was even a streak of thought and intelligence, but at the same time they gleamed with something like madness. Yes, I did remove it on purpose. Would you like me to put it back, Moises? Because I don't know if you're actually keeping up with the reading. I kind of want to keep the character picture on the screen. Put on the audio again. I'm still experimenting with this whole reading the book thing, which I think it's... I don't know if a lot of people like it. I don't know if I'm wasting my time here. It's already been 3 hours and my friend is waiting for me. So, maybe I'll have to limit this to 10 pages a day. I don't know. Or maybe a chapter per day might be good as well. Still experimenting, but we're still reading it. I'm thinking about cutting this up into like a video of its own, but my reading is not that good to, you know, to consider a full video for the book, but anyway, let's continue here. I'm gonna do a chapter a day. I think this has plenty of chapters, so chapter a day sounds good. Anyway, he was wearing an old and hopelessly ragged black dress coat, with all of its buttons missing except one, which had buttoned, evidently wishing to preserve his respectability, and a crumpled shirt front covered with spots and stains protruded from his canvas waistcoat. Like a clerk, he did not have a beard or a mustache, but had been so long unshaven that his chin looked like a stiff, grayish brush. And there was also something respectable and official about his manner. But he was restless. He ruffled up his hair from time to time to let his head drop into his hands, dejectedly resting his ragged elbows on the stained and sticky table. At last he looked straight at Raskolnikov and said loudly and resolutely, "May I venture, dear sir, to engage you in polite conversation? For although your exterior would not command respect, my experiences distinguishes you a man of education and not accustomed to drinking. I have always respected education united with genuine feelings, and I am, besides a titular counselor in rank, Marmeladov, that is my name, titular counselor. May I inquire, have you been in the service? No, I am studying, answered the young man, somewhat surprised at the grand style of the speaker and also at being so directly addressed. In spite of the momentary desire he had just been feeling for company of any sort, when he was actually spoken to, he felt his habitual irritable uneasiness at any stranger who approached or attempted to approach him. "Ah, a student then, or a former student," cried the clerk. "Just what I thought. I am a man of experience, immense experience, sir." And he tapped his forehead with his fingers in self-approval. "You've been a student or have attended some learned institution, but allow me." He got up, staggered, looked up his jug and glass, and sat down beside a young man, facing him a little sideways. He was drunk, but spoke fluently and boldly, only occasionally losing the thread of his sentences and drawling his words. He pounced upon Raskolnikov as greedily as though he had not spoken to a soul for a month. He pounced upon Raskolnikov as greedily as though he too had not spoken to a soul for a month. "Dear sir," he began almost with solemnity, "poverty is not a vice, that is a true saying. Yet I know too that drunkenness is not a virtue, and that's even truer. But destitution, dear sir, destitution is a vice. In poverty, you may still retain your innate nobility of soul, but in destitution, never, no one. For destitution, a man is not chased out of human society with a stick. He is swept out with a broom, so as to make it as humiliating as possible, and quite right too, for in destitution, I am the first to humiliate myself, hence the tavern. Dear sir, a month ago, Mr. Lebeziatnikov gave my wife a beating, and my wife is a very different matter from me. Do you understand? Allow me to ask you another question out of simple curiosity. Have you ever spent a night on a hay barge on the Neva? No, I haven't, answered Raskolnikov. What do you mean? Well, I've just come from one, and it's the fifth night. He filled his glass, emptied, and paused. Bits of hay were in fact clinging on his clothes and sticking to his hair. It seemed quite probable that he had not undressed or washed for the last 5 days. His hands particularly were filthy. They were fat and red with black nails. His conversation seemed to excite a general, though languid interest. The boys at the counter began to snigger. The innkeeper came down from the upper room, apparently on purpose, to listen to the clown, and sat down at a little distance, yawning lazily, but with dignity. Evidently Marmeladov was a familiar figure here, and he had most likely acquired his weakness for high-flown speeches from the habit of frequency entering into... that was not a filthy word. The word is right here. That was not me saying any funny words. Anyway, continuing on. Acquired his weakness for high-flown speeches from the habit of frequently entering into conversation with strangers of all sorts in the tavern. This habit develops into a necessity in some drunkards, and especially in those who are looked after strictly and kept in order at home. Hence, in the company of other drinkers, they try to justify themselves and even, if possible, obtain respect. Clown, pronounced the innkeeper. And why don't you work? Why aren't you at the office if you're an official? Why am I not at the office, dear sir? Marmeladov went on, addressing himself exclusively to Raskolnikov, as though it had been he who put that question to him. Why am I not at the office? Does not my heart ache to think what a useless worm I am? A month ago, when Mr. Lebeziatnikov beat my wife with his own hands, and I lay drunk, didn't I suffer? Excuse me, young man, has it ever happened to you, well, to ask hopelessly for a loan? Yes, it has, but what do you mean by hopelessly? Hopelessly in the fullest sense, when you know beforehand that you will get nothing by it. You know, for instance, beforehand with positive certainty that this man, this most reputable and exemplary citizen, will on no consideration give you money, and indeed I ask you, why should he? For he knows, of course, that I won't pay it back. From compassion? But Mr. Lebeziatnikov, who keeps up with modern ideas, explained the other day that compassion is forbidden nowadays by science itself. And that's how it is done now in England, where there is political economy. Why, I ask you, should he give it to me? And knowing beforehand that he won't, you set off to him and... where'd you go then? Put in Raskolnikov. But what if there is no one? Nowhere else one can go. For every man must have somewhere to go. Since there are times when one absolutely must go somewhere. When my own daughter first went out with a yellow ticket, then I had to go, for my daughter has a yellow ticket. He added in parentheses, looking with a certain uneasiness at the young man. No matter, sir, no matter. He went on hurriedly and with apparent composure when both the boys at the counter guffawed and even the innkeeper smiled. No matter, I am not embarrassed by the wagging of their heads, for everyone knows everything about it already, and all that is secret will be revealed, and I accept it all, not with contempt, but with humility. So be it, so be it, behold the man. Excuse me, young man, can you, not put it more strongly and more distinctly, not can you, but dare you, looking upon me, assert that I am not a pig? The young man did not answer a word. Well, the orator began again, persistently and with even more dignity, after waiting for the laughter in the room to subside. Well, so be it. I am a pig, but she is a lady. I have the semblance of a beast, but Katerina Ivanovna, my spouse, is a person of education and an officer's daughter. Granted, I am a scoundrel, but she is a woman of a noble heart, full of sentiments, refined by education. And yet, oh, if only she pitied me. Dear sir, you know every man ought to have at least one place where people pity him. But Katerina Ivanovna, though she is generous, she is unjust. And yet, although I realize that when she pulls my hair, she does merely out of pity. For I repeat, without being ashamed, she pulls my hair, young man. He declared with double dignity, hearing the snickering again. But my God, if she would but once, but no, it's all in vain. And it's no use talking. For more than once my wish did come true, and more than once she has taken pity on me. But such is my trait, and I am a beast by nature. Rather, assented the innkeeper, yawning. Marmeladov struck his fist resolutely on the table. Such is my trait. Do you know, sir? Do you know? I have sold her very stockings for drink. Not her shoes, that would be more or less in the order of things, but her stockings. Her stockings I have sold for drink. Her mohair shawl I sold for drink. And present to her long ago, her own property, not mine, and we live in a cold room, and she caught cold this winter and has begun coughing and spitting blood too. We have 3 little children, and Katerina Ivanovna is at work from morning till night. She is scrubbing and cleaning and washing the children, for she's been used to cleanliness from childhood, but her chest is weak and she has a tendency to consumption, and I feel it. Do you suppose I don't feel it? And the more I drink, the more I feel it. That's why I drink, to find sympathy and feeling in drink. I drink because I want to suffer profoundly. And as though in despair, he laid his head down on the table. Young man, he went on, raising his head again. In your face, I seem to read some kind of sorrow. When you came in, I read it, and that was why I addressed you at once. For in unfolding to you the story of my life, I do not wish to make myself a laughingstock before these idle listeners, who indeed know all about it already. But I am looking for a man of feeling and education. Know then that my wife was educated in a high-class school for the daughters of noblemen, and on leaving she danced the shawl dance before the governor and other personages, for which she was presented with a gold medal and a certificate of merit. The medal, well, the medal of course was sold long ago, but the certificate of merit is in her trunk still, and not long ago she showed it out to our landlady. And although she quarrels with the landlady most continually, yet she wanted to boast to someone or other of her past honors and to tell of the happy days that are gone. I don't condemn her for it. I don't condemn her, for the only thing left for her is her memories of the past, and all the rest is dust and ashes. Yes, yes, she is a hot-tempered lady, proud and determined. She scrubs the floors herself and has nothing but black bread to eat, but won't allow herself to be treated with disrespect. That's why she would not overlook Mr. Lebeziatnikov's rudeness to her, and so when he gave her a beating for it, she took to her bed more from the hurt to her feelings than from the blows. She was a widow when I married her, with 3 children, one smaller than the other. She married her first husband, an infantry officer, for love, and ran away with him from her father's house. She loved her husband very much, but he gave way to cards, wound up in court, and with that he died. He used to beat her at the end, and although she didn't let him get away with it, of which I have authentic documentary evidence, to this day she speaks of him with tears, and she throws him up to me. And I am glad that though only in imagination, she should think of herself as happy or having once been happy. And she was left at his death with 3 children in a beastly and remote district where I happened to be at the time. And she was left in such hopeless destitution that although I have seen many ups and downs of all sorts, I am unable to describe it even. Her relations had all abandoned her, and she was proud, too, excessively proud. And then, dear sir, and then, I, being at the time a widower with a daughter of 14 left me by my first wife, offered her my hand, for I could not bear the sight of such suffering. You can judge the extremity of her calamities that she, a woman of education and culture and distinguished family, should have consented to be my wife, but she did. Weeping and sobbing and wringing her hands, she married me, for she had nowhere to turn. Do you understand, dear sir? Do you understand? Yet, and for a whole year, I performed my duties conscientiously and faithfully, and did not touch this. He tapped the jug with his fingers. For I have feelings, but even so I could not please her, and then I lost my place too, and that through no fault of mine, but through changes in the office, and then I did touch it. It will already be a year and a half ago since we found ourselves at last, after many wanderings and numerous calamities, in this magnificent capital, adorned with innumerable monuments. Here too, I obtained a position. I obtained it, and I lost it again. Do you understand? This time it was through my own fault I lost it, for my trait had come out. We have now a corner at Amalia Fyodorovna Lipewetso's, and what we live upon and what we pay our rent with, I could not say. There are a lot of people living there besides ourselves, a most abominable Sodom. Yes, and meanwhile my daughter, by my first wife, has grown up, and what my daughter has had to put up with from her stepmother while she was growing up, I won't speak of. For though Katerina Ivanovna is full of generous feelings, she is a high-tempered lady, irritable, and will cut you off. Yes, but it's no use going over that. Sonia, as you may well imagine, has had no education. I did not make an effort 4 years ago to give her a course of geography and world history, but I was not very well up in those subjects myself, and we had no suitable manuals, and what books we had... Anyway, we don't have them now, those books, so all of our instruction came to an end. We stopped at Cyrus of Persia. Since she has attained years of maturity, she has read other books of novelistic tendency, and recently she had read with great interest a book she got through Mr. Lebeziatnikov, Lewis Physiology. Do you know it? And even recounted extracts from it to us, and that's the whole of her education. And now, may I venture to address you, dear sir, on my own account with a private question? Do you suppose that a respectable poor girl can earn much by honest work? Not 15 kopecks a day can she earn, if she is respectable and has no special talent, and that without putting her work down for an instant. And what's more, Ivan Ivanich Klopstock, the state councillor, have you heard of him, has not to this day paid her for the half-dozen Holland shirts she made him and drove her away insulted, stamping and calling her names, on the pretext that the shirt collars were not made the right size and were put in askew. And there are the little ones hungry? And Katerina Ivanovna walking up and down and wringing her hands and her cheeks flushed red as they always are in that disease. You sponger, says she, living with us, eating and drinking and keeping warm, and much she gets to eat and drink when there is not a crust for the little ones for 3 days. I was lying at the time. Well, what of it? I was lying drunk and I heard my Sonia speaking. She's a meek creature with a gentle little voice, fair hair and such pale, thin little face. She said, Katerina Ivanovna, am I really to do a thing like that? Daria Frantsevna, an evil-minded woman and very well known to the police, had 2 or 3 times already tried to get at her through the landlady. And why not? Said Katerina Ivanovna with a jeer. What's there to save? Some treasure? But don't blame her. Don't blame her, dear sir. Don't blame her. She was not in her right mind when she spoke, but driven to distraction by her illness and the crying of the hungry children. And it was said more to wound her than any precise sense. For that's what Katerina Ivanovna's character. And when children cry, even from hunger, she starts beating them at once. At 6 o'clock or so, I saw Sonechka get up, put on her kerchief, put on her cape, and go out the room. And about 9 o'clock, she came back. She walked straight up to Katerina Ivanovna, and she laid 30 rubles on the table before her in silence. She did not utter a word. She did not even look at her. Simply picked up our big green woolen shawl. We all use it, this woolen shawl, put it over her head and face, and lay down on the bed with her face to the wall. Only her little shoulders and her body kept shuddering. And I went on lying there just as before, and then I saw, young man, I saw Katerina Ivanovna in the same silence go up to Sonechka's little bed. She was on her knees all evening kissing Sonia's feet and would not get up. And then they both fell asleep in each other's arms. Together. Together, yes, and I lay drunk. Marmeladov stopped short as though his voice had failed him. Then he hurriedly filled his glass, drank, and cleared his throat. I'm gonna drink some water. Since then, sir, he went on after a brief pause. Since then, due to an unfortunate occurrence and through information given by evil-intentioned persons, in all of which Daria Frantsevna took a leading part on the pretext that she had been treated with too little respect, since then my daughter Sofia Semyonovna has been forced to take a yellow ticket, and owing to that she is unable to go on living with us, for our landlady Amalia Fyodorovna would not hear of it, though she had backed up Daria Frantsevna before, and Mr. Lebeziatnikov too. All that trouble between him and Katerina Ivanovna was on Sonia's account. At first, he was after Sonechka himself, and then all of a sudden, he got into a huff. How, said he, can an enlightened man like me live in the same rooms with a girl like that? And Katerina Ivanovna would not let it pass. She stood up for her, and so that's how it happened. And Sonechka came to us now, mostly after dark. She comforts Katerina Ivanovna and gives her all she can. She has a room at the tailor Kapernaumov. She rents from them. Kapernaumov is a lame man with a cleft palate, and all his numerous family have cleft palates too. And his wife too has a cleft palate. They all live in one room, but Sonia has her own partitioned up. Yes, very poor people and all with cleft palates, yes. As soon as I got up in the morning, I put on my rags, lifted up my hands to heaven, and sent off to His Excellency Ivan Afanasievich. His Excellency Ivan Afanasievich. Do you know him? No? Well, then it's a man of God you don't know. He is wax before the face of the Lord, even as wax melteth. He even shed tears when he heard my story. Marmeladov, once already you have deceived my expectations. I will take you once more on my own responsibility. That's what he said. Remember, he said, and now you can go. I kissed the dust at his feet, and though only for in reality he would not have allowed me to do it, being a statesman and a man of modern political and enlightened ideas. I returned home, and when I announced that I'd been taken back into the service and should receive a salary, heavens, what a to-do there was. Marmeladov stopped again in violent excitement. At that moment, a whole party of drunkards, already drunk, came in from the street, and the sounds of hired concertina and the cracked piping voice of a child of 7 singing The Little Farm were heard in the entryway. The room was filled with noise. The tavern keeper and the servants were busy with the newcomers. Marmeladov, paying no attention to the new arrivals, continued his story. He appeared by now to be extremely weak, but as he became more and more drunk, he became more and more talkative. The recollection of his recent success in getting a position seemed to revive him, and was even reflected in a sort of radiance on his face. Raskolnikov listened attentively. I am going to finish here because it's taking a long time. I didn't expect to take it this long, honestly. There's a lot of pages to go, but we did good progress. We're going to continue the story of the drunk tomorrow. And again, where did I stop? There we go. Page 48. All right. So thank you all so much for watching. This is going to be a long book, so prepare yourself. I am still experimenting with the whole booking thing. I think I'm going to read it and keep the image on screen. I don't know if I'm going to keep the sinner or the book. We could read the book, but you know, I'm going to decide. I'll check this out later. Anyway, if you enjoyed the stream, please leave a like, a comment, subscribe, a like on Twitch, all that good stuff. If you enjoyed the stream, please recommend it to your friends. But if you didn't, recommend it to your enemies. With all that said, thank you all so much and catch you next time. Sweet kisses and goodbye. Mwah.